week gets better for you, man. Or it's over now, but
I mean, we're almost there. Just no, I've been having to do interviews at work for an open position we have, and man, I will tell you what, I hate doing interviews. I
I
hate
tell
interviews.
you what, is that how
I
Jeff
tell
said?
you what, boy, I hate doing them there interviews.
It's the opening of your team or like a
Yeah, on
team
my
social
team.
interview?
Yeah, no, yeah,
Okay.
on my team, and yeah, like I'm blowing it out of proportion. I've done 2 interviews in the
Oh
last
my
week, and
God.
I have one tomorrow. It's not like I'm doing a fuck ton of them. I don't know. I don't like the format of interviews, and I don't know how to fix it. You know, I don't feel like it's a good process to actually determine who's a good candidate for the position. Because it's so easy for people to just lie, and
Yeah,
make
have them come
themselves
in for a
sound
day.
good. Yeah,
Yeah, we should have people come in for like a day or like
or
an hour.
probationary period or something. Like
Yeah.
you kind of have to like prove that you're, like it's almost like contract being a contract to hire type thing, but not necessarily that. I think that should be more what we do because, like, yeah, my last 2 hires were terrible. Like, um, and I don't know. I just don't feel very protected from that kind of thing as the person doing the hiring, because I just feel like it's pretty hard to discern when somebody's just kind of a bullshitter, if they're
Yeah.
good at hiding their ticks and stuff. So I don't know.
I mean, which I think you can do is, I mean, do you get the team involved? Like
Yeah, no, I
everybody on the
do.
team?
I do.
Okay.
No, they're
Uh,
like I do the second interview with the team. So
okay. Yeah, one thing like
um
we usually do is we usually ask like very, very, not very, very technical questions, but like kind of like what would you do type of questions in in these scenarios and stuff like
mhm,
that.
yeah.
Um, Especially stuff like give them low balls, like how do you connect the printer to how do you connect the printer to a network printer to a computer or something like that, like
Yeah.
just low ball shit, and then you start getting more advances. They don't even know if they kind of bullshit their way through the printer shit. Then you're like, okay,
Mm,
this guy
yeah.
is kind of like a bullshitter. So
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean we do that. We like the second interview is mostly like we try to do a lot of technical questions in the second interview. So I don't know. It's just how I feel. But well, Montreal, how are you this week? How's life treating you?
uh I tell you what, on Saturday it's just
I
been a
tell
train
you
wreck of
what, boy.
it's just been like a train wreck of like medical stuff. Not
Yeah.
medical stuff, but like even though I was on vacation, like I said, I had my doctor's appointment
Mm-hmm.
uh during my vacation, or the
Yeah.
week before my vacation. I got diagnosed as pre-diabetic, but then they lowered it back down to like glucose intolerant.
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily pre-diabetic, I'm glucose intolerant. And there's like, well, there's nothing really you can do about it. You can work out and stuff like that. So it doesn't become full-blown diabetes, but it does run in my family. So they said the best
Yeah.
I can do is keep working out and eating a little bit better. So I completely cut off sugar from my diet. I don't partake in any like sweets or anything like that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Except for
Yeah.
it's like sugar free. But then I forgot this week. I got I got a reminder. It was like, oh yeah, you're getting your teeth pulled on Saturday on the 27th. So
Yeah.
I got all 4 of my wisdom teeth pulled on the 27th.
Oof.
Uh,
You
that was
feeling
fun.
okay? You you made
Yeah,
you
I'm
make
good now.
okay. I mean, because I've been seeing you gaming a lot, so I yeah, I assume you've just been chilling. But
Yeah.
okay.
Um, I like I said, I took a vacation last week, and it was legitimately a staycation. Like my wife even mandated it, so I have been gaming just a lot. And then um, I'm kind of continuing that.
Mm-hmm.
I work from home now, so even on my breaks, I play my game when I'm on my break and stuff like that. I work from
Nice. Okay.
home 2 days out the week now, so
Okay.
I can still do that. So because
Cool.
I am, like I said, I'm starting my new position and stuff like that. I started my new position when I got back, so
Nice.
yeah,
Okay.
it's been fun.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, more gaming time. Yeah, the working from home is nice. You get those, you take that lunch hour and you just knock out something, so
Yeah.
it's good. Cool. All right. Well, let's jump into the show proper here. So, hi everybody. Welcome to the Players Take episode. This is episode 342. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined as always by my co-host Montrell Rice. For those of you who have not listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. Post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And if you'd like to send us questions, you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com, and we will answer your question on the show. Montreal. Okay, so DJ was texting us, yesterday or the day before, I don't remember. And he was begging us to go play League for a little while. He wants some League talk. So I figured we could just talk about where we're at, with it. I know we haven't played in like 3 months probably at this point, but where's your head at
It's
with
been 2
with League,
months.
Montreal? You know?
I will be completely honest with you. I am enjoying my sanity. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I am,
Yeah.
man. I have no desire right now.
Mhm.
Sometimes I think about going back, and the only
Mhm.
time I think about going back is when I like log in to play 2XKO.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's about it. Like, other than that, I don't. What deters me? I read the patch notes, and then I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm good.
It's the same
That's
old shit, bro. Yeah, it's just the same old shit, you know.
yeah, they're buffing Pantheon jungle, so I'm like, you know what? I'm not coming back. It's like
Yeah.
little stuff like that that just it's the most mundane stuff. Like I don't even know what they're buffing in a jungle for Pantheon, but the
Right.
simple fact that he's getting buffed, I don't care anymore. Like he needs to be nerfed into the fucking ground.
Yeah.
His support
Right.
still hasn't been nerfed because we remember when we were playing,
Mhm.
Pantheon support was like the best thing on earth.
Yeah.
He was playing
Right.
all four roles actually. He could play mid, top, jungle, and fucking support.
Yeah, and he could kill you
So
faster than, the Fed ADC could. So, you
exactly.
know. It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah. No,
So
I
I
mean,
don't know. I mean, I know he wants us to go back. Um, if I go back to anything, I'm gonna probably be in a new headspace to try something new, and
yeah.
I'll probably just jump into Dota or something like that. I don't think I'm gonna jump into League. If we are gonna play something like any kind of MOBA, like before the new season start, because I know new season we always test out the water every new season. So I'm
Yeah.
predicting when January hits, all of us are gonna probably jump back into League.
Mhm.
But I as of right now, I kind of have no desire to jump into it right now.
Yeah.
They need to significantly shake the meta up,
Yeah.
um, in a balanced way, but more fun as well.
Yeah.
Oh
No, that's what I told him, is that I think this season is interestingly a huge whiff for us. Like, because I know we were early in the year, we were saying the game was more balanced than it's ever been, but it just became stale. And then things
yeah,
slowly started to get unbalanced, and like Riot's just ignoring it for some reason, you know?
yeah,
And I continue to look at the patch notes too, and I have the same reaction where it's just like they're just continuing to ignore some of these characters that are low key overpowered, and I'm like, I don't know, it's like I'm not done with League forever, I don't think any of us are
yeah,
saying that. We probably will check it out in January, but I'm kind of in the same mind space though, as like if we're gonna play something competitive, I'm kind of in the mood to try something different, that we haven't played before. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at too. It's just and yeah, I am enjoying single player land. I have beaten more games, I feel like, in the last few months that I have in a while. So I'm feeling good, like it's a good place to be right now. So plus there's so much to play. Like I feel like there's
yes,
so many games to play
yeah,
right
man,
now that are lined up for me, and I don't want to break the chain at the moment, by like jumping back into League and losing 4 or 5 days a week to it. It's just I like the progress I am making. So so that's kind of where I'm at right now as well. So sorry, DJ. I know you want your league talk, but I don't. It's not happening anytime soon, man. So all right.
Yeah, it's
Well,
just not
yeah,
in my repertoire right now. I would like to go back to it someday, but I don't know, man. It's just yeah, I don't know. Like I didn't even think about that. Like you said before, like how it was like a slow creep
yeah,
of overpoweredness, but like the rest of the community hasn't recognized it yet. So like the
hmm
developers haven't recognized it yet because they're all complaining that the game's still like balanced and boring. Whereas like we see a Mundo who has 10,000 health, who's soloing everybody in the goddamn
yeah,
game, and we're like,
right,
yeah, the game's balanced, everybody, and it's like it's not
yeah,
like
yeah. No, and I think the other thing for us is low elo is just such a unfun place to play the game. You know,
yeah, yeah,
um, that a lot of these things are blown out of proportion in low elo. Like the overpoweredness of Mundo is blown out of proportion in low elo because like low elo players don't know how to play around a Mundo.
yeah.
So it just so he always becomes overpowered because he's always given space to farm and get back into the game even if he loses lane phase. Like because low elo players just don't know how to end the fucking game. They're like allergic to the idea of winning before 20 minutes. So
Which
um
is weird to me, but it's like
yeah,
I don't know.
right.
You're right, and it's I also don't like how they balance the. I mean, I think they gotten away from it a little bit. It sounds like, but they still balance around the top 1%, and it just really irritates me when they balance around like worlds and they balance around tournaments and other stuff like
Mm,
that. I
yeah,
think that's just the wrong way to balance a game, in my opinion. But they still
yeah,
do it anyway, so it is what it
yeah.
is.
All right. Well, let's get started with what we've been playing. We're both playing one game that's the same. You want to leave that one for the end, and then
Yeah,
we can go into the rest. Okay, so I'll start with Borderlands 4. Jet and I beat this on Monday, I think it was. We beat the campaign. I haven't played since, but we unlocked a whole bunch of like end game activities and stuff in the game. So I don't have anything to say about that stuff. But campaign wise, so I think the story is I don't really feel a lot more positive about the story now that I'm done with it. I think I was being pretty harsh on it a couple weeks ago and last week. I don't think it's awful by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think that they swung the pendulum a little too far back in the other direction away from like it feels like Borderlands 1 to me, and that is not a good thing. Borderlands 1 is like extremely bland as a game. The way the story is told is like, and there's like no, there's no feeling to any of the voice acting. The events that are happening like aren't riveting. The way the story is presented is not interesting, and I don't think a lot of those problems are here in Borderlands 4 beyond the fact that like they went for a tone that's similar to Borderlands 1, and that tone isn't good either for Borderlands, I don't think. So I don't know. I think this is one of those things like I'm just kind of at this point. I think with Borderlands, I don't I think the story is kind of out is like gone at this point. Like you're not gonna be playing the series for story going forward. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I think I've given up on that idea. I don't think Gearbox has very good writers anymore. I think a lot of those people left after 2 came out, and we've just been seeing that play out now for years, and here we are. So, is the story better than 3? I would say yes, but not like it's better in the fact that it's not hyper cringe. But it's like it is kind of cringe in some ways by the fact that how like boilerplate and stereotypical a lot of the characters are, a lot of the things that happen are so just like whatever, dude. Like there's like dude, there's a moment at the end of the game where a character gets killed, and it was the most like predictable bullshit that I've seen in a game in a while. And I was just like, me and Jet were playing, and we're just like, oh no, don't die. Oh God. Oh, you died. Oh, I'm so sad for you. And like the characters are playing it like hyper serious, super straight. The Vault Hunter's like mega sad, or whatever. And meanwhile, I'm just like, dude, I literally couldn't have given less of a fuck about this character at this point in the game. And then you beat the game, and the final boss is whatever. I don't spoilers. If you don't want to hear it, skip ahead a little bit, like a few minutes. But you beat the timekeeper, and it's the most like boring fight. It's not even like that interesting of a fight, and he just kind of goes out like a bitch. He's not even really that compelling of a villain, because I don't really think he's that present in the story. Like, he kind of disappears for a while when you go to a couple of the other zones, at the later zones, because they try to establish these sub villains that have their own motivations, and the idea of that could have worked well. I just don't think the execution with these two particular characters was very good. They didn't become compelling in their own right, and unfortunately, that just ended up taking away from the main villain, to the point that none of them were compelling for me. There were some returning characters that came in late in the campaign in the second two regions, which is cool to see. You get to see some of the Vault Hunters from Borderlands 3 come in, which was cool and interesting for sure. So there are some cool moments there, but yeah, I'd say overall not the best story I've ever experienced. I will say though, I don't know if part of this might be painted by the fact that I was playing this in co-op. Playing the campaign in co-op for the first time is a really jarring, disjointing experience, because I don't think like Jet particularly didn't care about the story to a degree. Like he just wants to grind and like get to max level and like start grinding loot. So I don't really think he cared about the story that much either. And I'd say in general, playing this game in co-op it's interesting, because I've only done it once. And that was a really long time ago, so I don't really remember the specifics. But this time, like, Jet's the kind of player that kind of will stand around and look at his inventory for a long time. He does a lot of prep and like looks at every item and that kind of thing. And it can be a very like, there's a lot of, I don't even know what the word is, like, you lose momentum when you're playing, in that regard, where like we'll complete a mission and then we spend 30 minutes like looking at inventory afterwards, and it's like, I just want to go to the next mission.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So that's another thing. I'm not sure experiencing the story that way is the most positive way to experience it. So I'm gonna play through the game on a different character for sure, and kind of take it in at my own pace and see if it comes and hits me any better. But so I will say, just to reiterate though, gameplay wise, this game is probably the best in the series. I think the Vault Hunters are all very cool to play.
Okay.
Um, and I think the way they've built the skill trees is really cool this time. I think it actually, like, there are a lot of different builds that I think are going to be viable, and Gearbox seems very committed to that idea. With there's actually a patch coming out today. I don't know if it's out yet. It was supposed to come out today, that they're buffing all the characters immensely. Like, they have a whole shitload of buffs planned for all the characters and the different builds. So they seem committed to the idea of having a lot of build diversity with this game, and I think that's the way they should be going, because Borderlands has always had that problem where there's only a few viable builds super late game, and I think they seem committed to making sure that's not the case here. So yeah, I think we're going to be in a good spot from a gameplay standpoint. Like, I think this game's going to be very fun to play from like a build crafting standpoint with the different characters. I think every character is going to have like a lot of different builds, like not like 3 or 4, like I'm talking 10 plus, something like that. So yeah, I think that's really cool as well. So yeah, I definitely would recommend the game. It's definitely worth playing for sure. I just think if you're like into story in Borderlands and you were hoping for some like a return to form of Borderlands 2, you're not going to get that here. So But that's fine. It's okay. The series doesn't have to be fucking Shakespeare. It is a looter shooter at the end of the day. So yeah, but um yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how much more I have to say about it at this point. I'll probably talk about it more if I keep playing it, but yeah. So I don't know. That's where I'm at with that. So Montreal, what have you been playing?
So I did finish. I thought I finished Peace Walker last podcast, but I finished it. I must have finished it like either the day after
Or
or
like
the same
Thursday
day.
night after we were done
Yeah,
recording, probably. Yeah.
yeah. So I did finish Peace Walker, and then I started Metal Gear Solid 5. Peace Walker is definitely uh an interesting experience, especially going to Metal Gear Solid 5. Um in Metal Gear Solid 5, they kind of manage a lot of the soldiers for you and stuff like that. In Peace Walker, you're a little bit more involved with your soldiers as far as like because there are certain times you can't even use Snake on the side missions. Whereas with Metal Gear Solid 5, I think you can use
Mm,
Snake all the time.
that's
Um
interesting. I didn't know that in
so
Peace Walker. That's
yes,
cool.
yeah. So you have to use some of your soldiers to do other things. Also, I can't remember because I didn't get that far in 5 yet again, but I don't know if you can send soldiers off to do time missions like their own ops, their own field ops. I think you can. I think you
Yeah.
can. And I think those are the ones that cost like those are the ones that's like 24 hours or whatever. And Peace Walker is not that. It's not that
Hmm.
fucking crazy. It takes maybe one or two missions. Actually, it takes one mission. So you send your soldiers off because you have like different squads you can send off. So I had like five really good squads of combat people, and I was sending them off, and I do one mission at Snake or someone else, and then I come back, and then that squad is already done with their mission, and I get my results back and stuff like that. So Peace Walker was like very streamlined, it seems like. And in
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 5, they got away from a lot of that stuff and they made it more longer for some reason. I have no idea why they did. It kind of went back, it regressed as far as like building mother base and everything of
Hmm.
that nature. From what now, granted, I haven't played Metal Gear Solid 5 in about 3 to 4 years. So
Mm.
I played it for about 4 hours, or whatever before I got into Trails, and we'll talk about that. And then Trails took over my life. So
We'll get there.
go what I'm saying with the grain of salt as far as like 5, if you haven't played 5 or whatever. But compared to 5, Peace Walker compared to 5, the management and the mother base system and everything outside of the gameplay is way
Mm.
more superior in Peace
Yeah.
Walker. Uh Honestly, if they were to remake Peace Walker with like Metal Gear Solid 5 like movement and combat,
Yeah.
it would be better than Metal Gear Solid 5, bar none. Like
Yeah.
not even close. Um the only thing holding Peace Walker back is the PSP game that's remastered on the 360 or whatever.
Mm.
So I mean, that being said, it still has decent gameplay. It's still better than Metal Gear Solid 3's gameplay, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Uh and like I said, the game progressively got harder. I was annoyed with the bosses though. Um, I didn't like some of the bosses. Particularly there's one boss at the end I just fucking hate. I think it's really fucking stupid. That boss is stupid.
Hmm.
You had to I mean it's an old game, so I'm gonna spoil it. Like you had to fight another Metal Gear. I forgot the name of that Metal Gear actually. But that Metal Gear was actually literally about to launch a nuke. Like I think this is the only Metal Gear that's like literally has a nuke on its back and is like about to launch it or whatever. So you had to fight it, and there are certain points into the fight where, first of all the bosses have a ton of fucking HP. It's actually fucking insane. Because I remember I told you this game had damage numbers.
Yeah.
This game, like, they all have a fucking ton of XP, and that's because the game is designed as well as like a pseudo Monster Hunter game. So you're supposed to upgrade your guns and stuff like that. Each gun has like a rank and everything, and you're supposed to
Yeah.
research with your mother base thing and all the other stuff like that. So the game was designed for replayability and portability. It's designed as a uh for like harder missions and stuff like that. You're supposed to do this. You can beat the entire game without trying to grind for that stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
but there were some things where I'm like, if I didn't do this side mission, I would have been fucked this mission or whatever. So
Yep.
it's a very interesting game and a very interesting time period. The PSP is a very interesting time period for like games in general because Konami was clearly trying to like pseudo tap into that Monster Hunter market, but they didn't know how to with the Metal
Yeah.
Gear franchise or whatever. Um, I think Metal Gear in the future, if they're trying to do something like this or whatever, I think it would just be better for like maybe if I do send my teams out for like op missions, like it's like a pseudo or like a mini RTS game where I can control them from the sky or whatever like that.
Mm.
I think that would be really cool for Metal Gear, especially like if they're trying to do some like Peace Walker type situation or Mother Base type situation, or whatever the case may be. Also, there is like one game that I missed, that's lost into the oblivion of the PSP, which is Portable Ops. Portable Ops is canon, and that's where he meets Kaz Miller. Because I forgot, since I just know the game, like going from 3 to 4 to Peace Walker, and then Kaz just appears. Like I'm like, oh, he's always been a part of the series, but no, Kaz was nowhere in 3, like at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
And it's like, where the fuck did Kaz come from? Because
Yeah.
you're establishing like in 3, you already established the militarants, the MSF or whatever,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is the Soldiers Without Borders. I can't remember the name in French or whatever, but it's called MSF. So you already established that, or whatever. You established that in Portable Ops. Like Portable Ops Delta is not canon, but Portable Ops is.
Yeah.
And also, um, which is really weird. Another thing that's really weird is you don't even meet Ocelot in 3 or in Portable Ops. Or I mean, no, I think you meet him in Portable Ops, but you
No,
don't meet
you
him
meet him in
in
you meet him in 3. You fight him.
no, no, I'm sorry, but I mean meet him. I'm sorry, he doesn't join your squad in
Oh,
3.
yeah, 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 yeah. He's an
Yeah,
enemy. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
he's still an enemy.
Right.
And even at the end of 3, he's like kind of your friend, but like your friend to me, if that makes any sense. And I
Yeah.
think in Portable Ops, you hire him as your one of your people inside MSF, but he's like a double agent. So he's
Yeah.
like still working with the CIA, and he's like a triple agent. The CIA and well, Guru is disbanded, so I think he's just working with the CIA at that point. And I think that's why he's not in Peace Walker. But then in Metal Gear Solid 5, like both of you guys are like 40, 45 or whatever. And like he's like, yeah, big boss, you taught me all this stuff and everything. I'm like, bro, you were in Peace Walker. Like you are. I mean, Kaz was in Peace Walker, but you weren't in Peace Walker. So,
Yeah.
like, if you're trying to play the game in order, like you're fucked because Portable Ops is just lost to the oblivion. You have to find an emulator and play it on that shit. And I don't
Or
feel
go
like doing that
watch
shit.
it or
Yeah,
something.
or go
Yeah.
watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're really just trying to figure out the story, I mean, in the Metal Gear Solid 5, they have the tapes where Ocelot literally explains in the tapes how he met you and whatever the case may be,
Yeah,
and
I
how
think that's
Kaz
the
met you.
issue, dude. That's always the problem with 5, I think, is people I have always felt like when I played 5, I didn't play it very long, but the stories took a back seat in the game itself, but from everything I've heard is all the story is actually on those tapes that you can
Yeah,
listen to. It's like that's such a weird, I don't really know why it was done that way. I don't know.
I
It,
so
I don't know.
so it's what's weird is it definitely hasn't changed. A lot of stuff definitely hasn't changed. Oh, that's another thing, dude. In Peace Walker, right? So this is the thing that Kojima does. Remember where he said in Death Stranding how he just did this 45-minute to an hour exposition on, this is what really happens in the Death
Yeah.
Stranding, and this is why I'm doing this, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And you're like, bro,
Right.
I just want to beat the game. I forgot he does this in all his games. Dude, he did it in 3. I didn't explain it in 3 because I fucking forgot about it. But then he explained
Yeah.
He's I completely forgot that Eva was a fucking triple agent. Like
Yeah.
she's like, oh, I'm actually not with the CIA. I'm with and I'm not with the fucking Soviet Union. I'm with the Chinese people. And it's like, what? You're with the Chinese government? Yeah, but actually, I was working with the boss as well because the boss told me her plan to put all this stuff in motion. And I'm like, so wait, the boss was a double agent. She act like she defected to well, actually, I don't want to spoil everything for y'all because it is a new game, so a lot of people are playing
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff in 3 at the end of 3 as well. You're just like,
Mhm.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Or whatever. And then Peace Walker kind of does the same shit. If you finish all the missions and you get a special mission, um, uh, there's a guy at the beginning of Peace Walker that brings pies, who's also like a significant part of 5 as well. The beginning
Mhm.
of 5. Uh, and I know everybody who knows who Paz is. That's the girl that threw herself off the helicopter because she had 2 bombs in her stomach or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so you do meet Chico and Paz in Peace Walker or whatever. Chico's like 12 or whatever. I think he's like 20 or what 20 or 20 16 or 20 in Metal Gear Solid 5 whatever. But anyway, uh yeah, Paz is like she comes off as like a 12-year-old girl, right? So
Mhm.
like you in Peace Walker, like this guy approaches you as a teacher, as a professor, and he's like, "Yo, like the U.S. military is bringing fucking nukes into Costa Rica. I need you to stop it or whatever." And then in the same breath, like the same cutscene, literally no lie, Kaz is like, Snake, this is actually a fucking double agent. He's actually a KGB agent. And then you meet with him again, and then the
Yeah.
guy's like, yeah, you're right. I'm not an actual professor. I'm a KGB agent. And if America gets nukes inside of fucking Cuba, or I'm sorry, not Cuba, Costa Rica, they're going to control all of Latin America and everything like that. It's like a shadow rogue entity trying to do that. And
Yeah.
Snake's like, yeah, I don't want that to happen or whatever, because like nukes and Metal Gear shit is crazy, so we don't want that to happen. We already went through another Cold War.
Mhm.
So he agrees to take on a mission because Paz is like, my name means peace in Spanish, I think, or whatever the fuck. And she's like, my name, and I want to do this for my people. We just want peace, or whatever. And then Snake's like, yeah, I'm doing this for Paz. I'm taking on this mission for Paz, or whatever. So that's why you do Peace Walker all together.
Mhm.
Then at the end of Peace Walker, it's like because in Peace Walker, remember I told you can build your own Metal Gear, right? So you
Yeah.
build that metal. If you finish Zeke, it's called Metal Gear Zeke. If you finish Metal Gear Zeke, which I think you actually fight in Metal Gear, like the NES version, like when you're Solid Snake, I think you
Yeah.
fight that Metal Gear as well.
Yeah.
Um, but if you finish Metal Gear Zeke or whatever, she hijacks that thing. Like the mission starts like, oh my god, someone's taking over Metal Gear, and it's like, who has done it? And it's Paz, and Paz is like, I was actually a sleeper agent for the KGB, and it's like, what? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Not only is it fucking crazy, right? Um, uh, she's in her underwear. Like in bro, yes,
What
she's
the
in her
hell?
just
Okay.
brawn panties inside
Yeah.
Metal Gear, and I'm like, why are you in brawn panties inside? Metal Gear doesn't require you to get naked, y'all. So why are you in brawn panties? Just Kojima shit. This she's like, I'm not actually 12. I'm actually a petite 22-year-old. And I'm like,
Oh no.
okay, you can pass with that, I guess. Whatever, but it's weird still. But whatever, Kojima, I'll let you pass
Okay,
with
we're
this
doing that.
because
We're doing that thing. Yeah. That old song.
so that's why she's in her underwear. I mean, that's not why she's in her underwear, but that's why it's okay for her to be in her underwear because she's a
Uh,
petite 22
good.
year old
Good
who's
God.
who was like who was a double agent or whatever, who's
Yeah. Yeah.
authorized to infiltrate MSF or whatever and get control of Metal Gear Z. My thing is this though. I think she was just like an informant or agent or whatever. I don't know what the fuck it was, right? But my thing is like she's like my mission changed when you guys completed Metal Gear Zeke, and my objective was to get Metal Gear Zeke at the end. And I'm like, okay, cool. So you beat Metal Gear Zeke, and then you beat Paz or whatever, um, or not Paz, but yeah, you beat Paz, and then she joins your crew again. Oh no, I'm sorry. She's not for the KGB. She's an agent for Cipher. That's who it is.
Mm.
And the guy that you met at the beginning, the professor, he's a double agent for Cipher. He poses himself as a KGB agent, but he's actually a Cipher agent who's like a rogue entity for United States or whatever. I don't know what their ambition is or whatever. You find out in 5 what actually Cipher is trying to do. But yeah, so Cipher kidnaps Paz because I think she goes on a mission or she wants to go back to Costa Rica or whatever for whatever reason, and they kidnap her midway to Costa Rica. And then Chico, he's in love with Paz. Like he was already in love with her before the whole double agent thing, and he's like still in love with her. So then he goes up on his own. He leaves MSF, or at this point we're not called Diamond Dogs yet, so we're still
Mhm.
MSF. So he leaves MSF, and he gets kidnapped. So then that leads to Ground Zero, where
Yeah. This is very convoluted.
exactly that leads to Ground Zero or whatever.
Mhm.
Uh, so then you learn in Ground Zero that some guy named Zero is controlling the whole thing. The only Zero that you know is the same Zero that was giving you missions. That was your handler and Colonel in Metal Gear Solid 3. So you're like, is this Major Zero's thing or whatever? But we don't fucking know or whatever. There's some guy with like a burnt face. I
Mhm.
don't know who that is. I know who it is, but I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody. But then that's when you find out Cypher or whatever. So in Ground Zero, which is that like 20-minute uh $20 demo that they give you that Konami made you pay for or whatever, you rescue Paz and then
It was 40. It was
it was
$40.
40? Holy
Yeah, it was
shit,
it was it was 40.
we're cooked. We're so cooked. We
Yeah.
we deserve that. We actually deserve that shit. Gamers are
Yep.
so,
Yep.
including myself. We're yeah. Anyway, it's $40. I can't believe that shit. $40. Um you rescue Chico, and then you rescue Paz, and then yeah, that's when you learn that Emmerich or yeah, Emmerich said like, oh, since we have a nuke, everyone knows that we have a nuke or something like that now. They need to do a nuclear inspection on us, like the uh I forgot what their name. The UN needs to do a global nuclear inspection on us or whatever to see if we actually have a nuke or whatever. Even though we still do have a nuke, we had to hide it. And so it's actually Cypher posing as the nuclear inspection. So that's how they got on. And while everybody was off base, Cypher came and killed everybody. And then that's when you get back, and then MSF is destroyed or whatever, right?
Mhm.
Mother Race destroyed. So then Metal Gear Solid 5 starts. I had to look this up because I was confused, and I beat the game, Justin.
Yeah.
I beat Metal Gear Solid 5. I was like, who the fuck is Ishmael?
Yeah.
So, because your name's your code name is Ahab or whatever, and then you have
Mhm.
Ishmael,
Yeah.
who's like, I've been watching over you, like the guy in the bandages. If you remember the beginning, right, he was helping you out through the entire thing. So there
Yeah.
was a long running theory like that wasn't actually anyone. That was just like your conscience telling you how to be Snake again
Yeah.
or whatever. But like there are too many coincidences that like that's actually a real person, or whatever. So there's one part where you crash you go through the whole sequence or whatever, and I don't know why like Psycho Mantis is playing both sides. I just gotta play the game again because I forgot Psycho Mantis was in Metal Gear Solid 5 as a kid, and I'm like,
Oh,
dude, what the
really? Yeah, I don't
yeah,
remember that
that's
either. I mean, I like I
y-
said, I played like the first like 4 or 5 hours of the game. So
yeah.
yeah,
If you remember the hospital scene at the
I
beginning of the
do,
game,
which is complete. It's completely insane. Yeah, it's just
yeah,
Metal
and
Gear
that little
insanity. Yeah,
kid that's like controlling the little fire dude,
yeah.
who's that's Psycho Mantis.
Okay, gotcha.
Um, Yeah, dude. And then like you crash the ambulance, and right there is where the time, not the timeline converges, but like the game split off.
Yeah.
So right there is where Venom Snake begins, and then Big Boss himself is doing Metal Gear 1. He's off to do Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2. That's what he's doing. You are just a huge distraction. Metal
Wait,
Gear
what?
Solid 5, yeah, Metal Gear Solid 5 is nothing but a huge side mission. You're
Yeah.
not even like you're a phantom.
What?
That's why it's called Phantom Pain.
What? Okay, yeah, all right.
All
Wait,
right,
so it's happening
okay.
at the same time as Metal Gear
So
1,
if
technically?
you have not played Metal Gear Solid 5,
Yeah.
please go like five. It's going to take me a while. 5 or 10 minutes into the future, but I'm going to explain it. So in that part where you crash the ambulance, right?
Yeah.
So you remember at the beginning of Metal Gear Solid 5, they'd have that weird character creator.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I do remember
Yeah.
that.
So right there, they do the plastic surgery to make you look like Big Boss
Yeah.
because you're actually the medic that took the bomb out of Paz in the
Okay.
helicopter. So
Okay.
you're that medic.
Okay.
They do the plastic surgery to make you look like Big Boss. Big Boss himself, who's Ishmael, who's the guy in bandages helping you, he's that guy helping you the entire time. That's Big Boss.
Mhm.
When you crash the ambulance, you wake up, he's not there anymore. Everyone thought at that point, I
Yeah.
remember this, everybody thought like Ishmael was just a figment of your imagination because you're becoming Big Boss or whatever, or you're trying to become Big Boss again.
Yeah.
No, at that point, Big Boss told Ocelot, make this guy me. I'm gonna go and build Outer Heaven in Metal Gear Solid, in Metal Gear 1. That's what
Okay.
I'm gonna go do.
Yeah.
So while you're doing this, he's building Metal Gear 1 or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not happening in the same time. He's building up Metal Gear 1. So by the time you get done with Metal Gear Solid 5, you find out at the end that you're just a medic. You're not actually Big Boss. You're Venom Snake. So
Okay.
everything that you have done up to this point doesn't make sense. So, or it does make sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then fast forward in Metal Gear in the NES, Solid Snake, who's the one we play as in the PS2, who's the clone of Big Boss or Naked Snake.
Yeah.
He comes in, he infiltrates that base, he beats Big Boss. Only you thought he did. Big Boss is severely injured during that attack. But then Metal Gear 2 happens, Snake's Revenge. And then you beat him again, but this time you burn his body or whatever, right? You burn
Mhm.
his entire body. Except you don't burn his entire body. You burn, I believe, the medic who played Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 5. So you kill Venom Snake in
Okay.
Metal Gear Solid. It's Snake's Revenge. So that's
Okay.
how he's
Yeah.
alive. If you remember Metal Gear Solid 4, he's alive at the end. And you're
Yeah.
like,
Of
people were
course.
like,
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And a lot of people were like, what the fuck? Like, I burned him to death. You didn't burn him to death. Uh, it's a whole thing. I think I even got that wrong. I think maybe that was a clone. I don't know, bro.
I don't remember,
Yeah,
dude.
fuck it.
I don't
Anyway,
know.
that's my Metal Gear Solid experience right now. So now we can get on the trails.
Okay.
It's
All right.
just as confusing as fucking
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts, bro.
It sounds worse. I mean,
Yeah,
no, I don't know. Kingdom Hearts is pretty bad. Okay, well, let's get to the game. Yeah, we both want to talk about. Montreal, tell me about Trails. I will say, I feel like you are a lot further than I
I
am.
am. I checked your hours, and you're
Yeah,
only like 16 hours into it, or 15 maybe.
no, there's 10 hours that are missing because of the demo. So I'm further
Okay,
than that. But
you further than that? Okay, what chapter are you on?
2, I just got to Ruan.
Okay, I'll stop right there then. You just got to Ruan. Okay, I won't go
Pretty
past
much.
two.
Yeah, pretty
All right.
much. Yeah.
Fuck. I, I'm not gonna say anything.
I mean, don't
I
spoil this
want you
game
to.
for me,
No,
Montreal.
I
I
want
will.
you to. I want you to experience two. I want you to experience two,
Okay.
and it's fresh.
Because
So I
yeah, I
won't
will
say
kill you.
anything.
I don't.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
am
yeah.
heavily invested
I
in this game.
it,
Okay.
it, it, I want you to experience two, and I want to see if you have the same experience as me. So I'm not going
Okay.
to say anything negative or positive about two.
Okay.
Chapter two.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
chapter
Let's
one
just.
though. Whew,
Yeah.
boy, I
Yeah.
tell
Let's
you,
leave. Let's leave. Yeah. Well, I guess let's like stop at the end of chapter one, basically.
okay.
Um.
Chapter one, man. First when I first played the game, I was like, okay, standard RPG shit.
Well, hold
Not
on.
standard
Are we going
RPG.
into spoilers here? I want to be. I don't want to. I don't want to spoil this game for people necessarily. So let's do general thoughts
Spoil
first.
general thought. Yeah, general
General
thoughts.
thoughts, and then we'll do like a spoilers cutoff point.
Okay. So general thoughts. First, like this game was made in the early 2000s. It was a PSP game.
Mm-hmm.
Uh I thought it was a
Right.
PlayStation 1 game, but it was actually a
Nope.
PSP game.
Nope. Yep.
So it still has the hallmarks of a 90s JRPG.
Yeah.
And boy, do I miss that shit. I thought I didn't miss that shit, but boy, do I miss that shit. And it's not trying to be. Also, you got to understand too. Final Fantasy VII was like the hottest thing around, like way into like the 2000s, bro.
Yeah.
So
Right.
every JRPG was trying to be Final Fantasy VII, and it's so refreshing that this game is like an adventure slice of life anime
Yeah.
in JRPG form. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it so
I
much.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I love. I like. I was listening to some people who've played all the games talk about this game, and they say that it's not their favorite game. Is what I've heard. Is like it's just they think it's boring compared to some of the later games, but and maybe that's true. Maybe the later games are just so fire it's crazy. But I personally I am the type of person when I experience stories, I don't mind when a story is slow or takes its
Yeah,
time or as long as it's good, I don't care, right? Like you can take your
yeah,
time to set up and that's kind of what this game is doing.
yes,
It is very like I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people who play this who are going to be like, dude, this game is like so boring. Like you like you run around for 10 hours in your hometown and like you do like you're like you're helping the farm nearby like catch fucking chickens. It's like what are we doing. But I'm into it, man. I don't care. Like I like the coziness of it. I really like
yes,
this.
dude.
Like it feels like a very grounded anime adventure where it's like it's not trying to be crazy. You're not doing insane things right out of the gate, dude.
Yeah,
You're not fighting people you shouldn't be fighting. For the most part, and I like the way the story progresses. Like I think the first chapter is really good. I actually really like the early part of the game where you are literally just kind of running around your hometown being a junior bracer and doing really menial tasks. But you're kind of getting to know people and you're learning about the villagers and you're running into some people that you're going to run into over the course of the game probably. But you're kind of meeting them for the first time and getting some interesting, and then they do mix in a little bit of chapter two's or chapter one storyline in the prologue as well. With the sky pirates and all that. So you're getting, you're
well,
just, I don't know. I
what I
like the
want to
way it's
talk about,
structured.
dude.
Yeah.
I feel like each chapter is an anime arc, like
Yeah.
legitimately,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. That's what it feels like. I would
and
agree.
they,
Yeah.
and they have like an overarching. I mean, there's an overarching narrative, but you don't even know what the overarching narrative is.
Right. I
Because
still
I'm
don't
like,
know what that is yet.
yeah,
No. Yeah.
exactly, and
Yeah.
like, I'm in chapter 3, and it's still being spoon fed to you, or whatever. Like it's
Yeah.
starting to
Okay.
take shape a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, bro, like with the sky pirates and everything, like even that part, the last half of chapter 1 or
Yeah.
whatever, like that's really cool, whatever. But it's just like, I don't know, bro. When I was playing the game, I was just like, this is mildly like calm, but like the combat system is like really good also.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Right.
like,
Yeah.
dude, this is like really cool. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I actually like the characters, like you said. I do like the characters. I like Estelle and I like Joshua.
Yeah.
and
Agreed.
I like how Estelle's like not the smartest, but like not dumb as well. But everyone
Yeah.
trying to treat her like she's stupid. But like she's like, no, I'm actually
She's
pretty
kind of like
smart.
she's
I
kind of
just
like she kind of reminds me of Naruto a
yeah,
little
there you
bit.
go. That's a good
Yeah.
comparison. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. She's got that same energy, but and she's not an idiot though. Like
Yeah, exactly.
she's good in certain situations, is what I'll say.
Well, as you get later on, you understand like she's really like a country bump. She's really like a country girl. She's a country
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
Obviously, she grew up in the countryside.
Hmm.
Um, and like everyone's talking about her dad and stuff like that in chapter one. She's like, "My dad is like
I
this."
know.
Like, what are you?
This is like a story beat that hasn't paid off quite yet for me, but yeah, it's just they keep bringing up her dad and how much of a badass he is, and she's just like so oblivious to it. It's very funny and interesting that that's her perspective. She doesn't believe anybody around her when they say, yeah, like when the sorry, mild spoilers here, but when they bring up the sky pirates and like him being on the ship that they abducted, they're like, there's no way that these clowns would have beaten your dad. There's just no
Yeah,
way. I don't
exactly.
believe. And she's
Exactly.
like, what are you guys talking about? What? My dad's a bum, you know? Like, it's funny. I do think the humor in the game too is like understated. I don't think they're not going for hard jokes. It's like subtle. They're kind of peppering it in the middle of conversations
Yeah.
and stuff. I will say, Montreal, I'm sure your favorite character's got to be Sherazard, right? I mean, I
Oh
assume
man,
she
she is so fucking hot, dog. Oh my god. Yeah.
I knew it, bro. She is the gooner bait for this game, 100%.
She's
I
so
mean,
hot, dude.
the way she fights is like when you got control of her for the first time, I was like, brother, what? Like, and she's like, bad boys get punished and
Yes, sir.
and
That's
shit
what
like
he is.
that. And she's got a whip and shit. I'm like, brother, what is
Yes,
happening with this?
queen. Yes,
Like
queen.
it was very jarring. I don't hate it though. I think she's a funny character. Like I like her.
Well, like I like her. She
But
has a drinking problem. Like,
yeah.
like
That's fair. And she fucking murders somebody in a drinking, not a contest, but she purposefully gets somebody else drunk because she's like a
yeah,
bottomless pit, basically. I like that. That was fun. So
yeah. I don't know. I just like how adults are adults, but they're not like. She's clearly like in her mid-20s still. Like you can tell she's
yeah,
like in
she's
her
20. She's
mid-20s.
23. You can go see in
Yeah,
the there's a I don't know where it is, but it's in one of the info pages, like about all the characters. Yeah,
yeah.
Estelle and Joshua are 16. She's
Or
23.
16. She's
Yeah,
23. And
yeah.
then
But
like I
there
also
is some mild sexual harassment from her though with Joshua in
with
the beginning of
Joshua.
the game too. And I was like, what is going on? This is but it's
Oh
okay.
my
It's
god.
fine. I don't have a problem with it. It's like I think it ends up being funny over the course of the game because like she just continues to do this with everybody that she meets.
Yeah.
She's kind of like a quirk of her character. So, you know.
Yeah, no, it's very funny. Cuz you only got her, right? In chapter 1.
No, you got
Cuz
the
chapter
other
1
there's another character that you get in the party as well.
is he like permanently in your party?
No. He
Okay.
he he has left the party.
Well, I'm talking about like cuz oh, yeah, okay. So you are in Ruhan. So, yeah, I actually like my bisexual king. Was he's clearly bisexual.
Played by Matthew Mercer. Yes. They picked a great voice actor for this character. He is extremely good at these kind of characters. Um, yeah.
Yeah, he's funny. He was like, everybody but Estelle. And Estelle was like, yo, what the fuck? He's like, not my type.
Yeah, no, there's some fun there as well. Um, Talk to me about
But
the
yeah,
combat though. I know.
I wasn't expecting to like the combat so much. Not only do I like the out of combat, the
Yeah, the
field combat or
quick
whatever.
combat. Yeah,
Yeah, I think the quick combat's cool, even though it's like very primitive. It's only two buttons. I think it's really cool.
it's
Still.
deeper than metaphor.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly.
metaphor was like getting glazed so hard for having a 3-button combo and a dodge button. Like, oh my
Yeah.
god, there's action combat in an Atlas game. Oh.
Uh,
You know,
and I will say this game is flying under the radar. Some people are
yeah,
like, some people release like a games. Just like somebody's like, oh, there are no good games this year, and then somebody released a whole list of games or whatever that came out this year and last year, and
yeah,
people in the comments are like, where's Trails at? Where's Trails at? Where's Trails at? Like,
hmm
yeah, like where is Trails, bro? Like this game's so good. Anyway, yeah, the outer combat does actually serve a purpose. The field combat serves
yeah,
a purpose, a really good purpose. And then when you float into the actual turn-based combat, uh it's so cool because it's like a tactical
yeah.
combat.
You
Also,
have to,
I actually like how it doesn't take you into another field. It's right
yeah,
there on the map. So
yep.
from what I understand, the other Trails games, they do this same thing as well, but they take you into another field when you go into combat.
Okay. So
But
this
this
is
is
like
the
an
first game where it's like on field. You're not going to another area or whatever.
That's interesting.
Or
Yeah, it's a very subtle thing, but it is really cool. It's something that we
yeah.
wish that Tails would do. um, so yeah, no, I think that it is very cool. I like the quick combat too because I mean, I basically use it to stun the most threatening enemy and then start the combat basically, and then you get like
Yeah.
you get a couple free turns essentially.
Are you
Um,
still playing on the hard mode?
yes, yes.
Okay. Um, but yeah, so
Are you? Or you playing on normal?
I am I'm playing on hard
Okay.
mode. I'm playing on hard
Cause
mode.
yeah, no, I
I,
feel like my party is very powerful, actually. Like you take a lot of damage, but man, am I dishing it out. There are some combats where I have chain stunned the entire enemy party for the entire combat basically, and they don't even touch me. Like it is very
I mean,
satisfying to do.
it, it's been a roller coaster for me. So I haven't been
Yeah,
having that luck. I have been learning the combat system. I'm way good at it now. But like
yeah,
chapter 1 I did struggle. Um because I
yeah.
was just trying to, even reading all the tidbits they give you and everything like that. You still have to just experience it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
right.
for me at least. Um, but no, I do like the tactical nature because like the original game, I did go back and look at the original gameplay. It was more grid based. It was
Yeah,
isometric grid based.
yeah.
Um, Whereas this one is not isometric. It's like a tactical thing, but you move your character around the field if that makes any sense.
Yeah, everybody's
And
like you actually position your characters to
yeah,
attack.
position
Yeah.
your characters to attack. And I don't know. I was like, man, what if Fire Emblem kind of implemented something like this?
Yeah.
Uh like a side game. I don't want the main game to be like that, but
Yeah.
the side
No,
game
it would
kind of
be really
implemented.
cool. That's an interesting thought. That would kind of be a cool thing to see in a like a side project for Fire Emblem for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the combat's fire. I think the systems surrounding the combat. I think the orbital system is really cool as well.
Yeah.
I wish you can change some stuff on the fly. But I actually do like having. There's a balance to it, and the balance is going back to the orbital guys, the orbital shop to
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
your augments and everything like that, or your orbments rather, um, and everything of that nature. And I mean, what I've learned as well, like this game is like your leveling matters a lot, but
Yes.
also your accessories matter a lot as well.
Yes.
I will say going into the next chapter in the for the chapters, if speed will probably be one, speed and
Oh,
accuracy
dude.
will probably be your
Yes.
best fucking
No,
stats.
I'm abusing the shit out of speed, bro. My Joshua is like he takes like 3 turns before the enemies know. Dude, because he's like my main like he seems to be the main DPS character, at least from a physical standpoint. And that's kind of how I've been using him. I didn't give him any healing
That's funny.
spells
I turned him into
or
a
anything.
tank.
Yeah, I'm not using any healing spells with him, so he's kind of my DPS character. And yeah, I have just been stacking speed. And like I said, when I start a combat against certain enemies and I stun them to start and I come in, Joshua will go first. He will cast a spell and immediately cast that spell regardless of whether he has the 0 buff or not.
Yep.
And then he will somebody else will go, then he'll go. and do it again. And then the enemy gets to go and they're stunned. And then Joshua goes again. Like he's dude, his speed is so broken, and it's to the point like I'm starting to use buffs on him to just keep enhancing that speed. Like I think he's fucking like I so yes, you're 100% right. Speed is extremely strong. I haven't seen the need for accuracy quite yet
Oh my
in my
god, dude.
playthrough, but yeah, I'm sure I'll get there.
Yeah, chapter 2,
Yeah.
at least for me, like accuracy would like start to take a hit. That's because like I wasn't really paying attention to the stats like that. I was just kind of
Yeah.
playing the game, going through the motions.
Yeah.
Um, but it was like a learning curve for me. Like chapter 1, I learned like the positional things and like the importance of the bonuses that you get each round and stuff like that, and how to steal the
Yes.
bonuses and everything of that nature. So I
Yeah.
learned that, and then in like chapter 2, I learned like how important accuracy and speed was, and now I'm in chapter 3 or whatever.
Mhm.
But like, I turned him into like an evasion tank because he has that one skill that he can jump in front of a
Yeah.
take
Protect.
damage or whatever, yeah, and protect.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I turned it. I was like, since I looked at a lot of their skills to see what where they were kind of gearing towards each character, and I'm like, okay, this character is clearly meant to be like a mage type character and buff people. This character is meant to be like
Yeah.
maybe like a DPS, whether it be like I have Estelle as a hybrid. She does a lot of magic, but
Me
she can
too.
also dish out a lot of physical
She's really
damage as well.
strong. She's actually a really
Yeah,
strong character too. Yeah.
yeah, I love using her, especially when I don't know if you got her secondary move, her
Yes, her
second
second
skill
S
yet.
art, dude. Oh my god,
Yeah,
it's so good. What the fuck?
yeah,
Her first one's
it's
really good
broken.
too, though, because it inflicts paralysis. So you can chain stun enemies and then paralyze them, and they never get to go. Basically, like it's so OP, man. Like
Well,
it's
you can.
fucking.
I usually do her morale buff, and then I use my
Mm-hmm.
your
Yeah.
S tier, your S ranks. Also, I okay. So don't judge me. I did not know until the end of chapter 2, and you can interrupt people's stuff and use your
Yes.
S rank attack anytime. I did not know that. I was like,
Oh,
it's like, oh, you could.
I
Yeah.
didn't know
So
that
not
either.
not
I.
necessarily interrupt, but you can, if you hold L2 or R2 rather, and you
Yeah.
bring up that menu,
Yeah.
um, and you press it, like you press whichever one, it's gonna be a directional pad you
Oh,
can
you're
use,
right. Oh my
and you
god,
can
I
you
forgot
can
about
immediately
that.
go next after every at the any turn. You can immediately go
So
next.
you shouldn't use it on their normal turn. You're like wasting their
You
turn.
You can do it that way if you
Yeah.
strategize it that way.
Yeah.
But I had to, in chapter 2, I had to learn how to do that because I was like, dude, like there's just no way I'm getting like one shotted and stuff like that. Um,
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah.
but yeah, so that was my thing in chapter 1. Uh, when I was going against the pirates, dude, I really had to like gear down and learn the system because it was
The boss fight
the pirate boss fight, and oh
where
no,
there's
I think
three of them,
that
right? The
yeah,
three.
because
Yeah. Okay.
what level are you in chapter 1? Or what level are you right now?
22 ish, something like that.
22 ish. Okay, yeah. So it was that fight, and then one of the side bosses, the fish that's on the side of the road that
Yes.
shoots
Yes.
electricity,
Yes.
beating my ass, dude. Like literally beating my ass. So
Yeah.
the boss fight with the pirate boss fight, I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, um, especially when uh yeah, so because you fight pirates twice, right? Spoilers.
Three
Okay,
times. Three.
everybody,
You
this
fight.
is
You fight. You
three
fight
times,
them
right?
four times actually, because you fight them each individually, and then
Yeah,
you fight the two kids together, and then you fight all three together at the end.
yeah. So
So,
spoilers for anybody for chapter
well,
1, a
okay. How
little
about
bit.
this? We've talked enough about the game at this point. I feel like that people have gotten the idea. So we're gonna cut off for spoilers here. I think you can tell that Montreal and I both love the game. It is a great fucking JRPG. I think this is one of the best JRPGs I've played in a very long time. I'll say
Yes, I
that.
was just going to say that, dude. Like,
I
yeah,
think
this is one.
this is in a Xenoblade ish tier for me.
I did hear a lot of people say that if you like Xenoblade, like a lot of Xenoblade fanboys are like, I love this game, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it is. I think because
Yeah,
Xenoblade is also a slow burner as well.
yeah, yeah,
But even though the
Yeah.
stakes are super high in Xenoblade, like each Xenoblade,
Yes.
the stakes are high.
That is true.
Um,
Yeah.
this game, it's like I get to know the characters. I love the banter of the characters.
Yeah.
I love I love my party. I
Yeah.
love my main characters or whatever. And like
Yeah.
I like that the world's not on fire or whatever, but
Yes,
like,
exactly. Like we're getting to experience the world in its normal day-to-day state, and I really
yeah,
like that cuz I'm sure in later games things are crazy, and but like we know what the world used to look like. So we kind of know what these characters are fighting for eventually, you know.
yeah,
If it's ever threatened. So I like that. You're establishing a base level. One other thing too, before we get into spoilers specifically, I do like how many characters come in and out of the party in the
yeah,
game. And I don't know if they ever become permanent additions or not. I haven't gotten far enough, but there's a lot of characters that join the party for like a few fights or a fight or two, or just like one section of the story. And I think that's really cool that they took the time to create move sets for these characters. If they're not permanent additions, I think some of them are probably, but I haven't gotten to the point where I know that for sure. So, but yeah, I just like how much like the party changes up a lot in this game, and I actually really like that too. So that's really cool. Okay, so we're gonna jump into spoilers. If you don't want to hear it, jump ahead a few minutes. And when we get to basically we're gonna be doing the news after this. So when you get to the point where we're talking about news, we're out of the spoilers section. So okay, Montreal, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. So I didn't have a problem with the first, or I didn't have a problem with the second fight. The first fight though, I forgot her name. She
With
does
Josette?
stampede though.
Yeah, with
Josette,
Dude,
dude.
Josette. No, that was the first fight in the game where you're really like, you got to learn, like, positioning is
Yeah,
very important. That was the
yeah,
fight where
dude.
it's like, basically, do not put your characters next to each other or you're going to get the two of them killed and you only have
And
three. So,
I remember you
yeah,
said that. So the first two times I died, and I was like, oh yeah, like she's clearly gonna fuck me up if I position my characters next to each other. So I
yeah,
started spacing them out and doing some stuff, and then it worked out. But yeah, like, dude, sometimes, bro, and this is where I learned like the speed stat and everything as well. Um,
yes.
um, and and when I said one shot, I meant to actually the characters that were one shotting me were the end of chapter one, not two. Chapter two
Mm,
was actually relatively easy for me. Chapter
okay.
one, though, uh, bro, it was the last fight where
With the three,
I almost,
with
yeah,
Josette,
dude,
Kyle, and their Don or whatever, the big guy.
Don,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and
That
I
fight was
almost contemplated,
very challenging. Yeah.
yeah, I almost contemplated lowering the difficulty because I was just like, dude, there's no way I can beat this fight, like, um, because I didn't have the gear and stuff like that. I actually just like I barely passed the fight or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it was like my speed and my accuracy.
Well,
I
had
was
you not
missing so
upgraded your
much.
gear yet at the
I did. I just had the
Okay.
wrong gear on them. If that makes any
Did
sense.
you
And
have do you have a
I had the
character
wrong ordinance.
do you have a character who can cast revive? Like the
No.
revive
Now I
spell? Cuz
do.
that
Now I
Okay,
do.
cuz yeah, that was very important in that fight, obviously, for
Yeah.
obvious
I I,
reasons.
I didn't. I was just using items,
Yeah.
and it was like it was killing me, dude. Like
Yeah, because you can't do it at range when you're using an item. You have to be next to the person, so you end
you
up
have to be
setting
next
up for
to
an AoE attack, basically.
exactly, dude.
Yeah.
Like so, Josette was just like wrecking me,
Ripping
and
you to
then
shreds. I
some.
killed her first, which made sense because she's the weakest one in terms of HP. But
Yeah.
Kyle, dude, I will say I honestly that fight was really interesting because the beginning part of it, I didn't really have any trouble. I killed Josette, like I knocked Josette out, and then I didn't start. I started having trouble after that when Kyle got into critical HP, and he just started. You know how all the bosses are
Oh
like
my!
they fucking
They
buff
go into
themselves.
rage mode.
Dude,
Yeah,
his
bro.
turn economy was insane. He was
That's what I'm
going
saying.
back to back. He was literally he would go and then he would go again and then I would get one character to go and then he would go again and then I'd get one character then he would go again. It was insane. He was getting 4
You
turns for like
had
2 of mine. It was fucking ridiculous,
it
bro.
was so bad, dude, that I
Yeah.
had to restart that entire sequence, and I
Yeah.
went back to a old save,
Mhm.
and and I
Yeah.
revamped everything to where I got clock up EX, and
Yes, I
that helped
hadn't.
me out.
I don't have that yet. Yeah, because that doesn't
Yeah.
that give you an instant turn? Like it
Yes. Yes.
instantly
Yes.
gives the character like an immediate turn. Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
valuable. I will say
Yeah.
the other thing I did, and I've been abusing this since the Josette fight. Actually, is there is an Earth spell. I forget what it's called, but you can use
Oh,
it
you
in an
talking about
AOE.
Crest or something like that, where it gives you
Some
HP shields?
Yeah, it gives you an 1,000 HP shield. I've been using that in the
Yeah.
boss fights a lot. It's very
Yes.
helpful
And
ability.
that was
Yeah.
another thing I learned too during that
Yes.
fight, that I needed to cast that. I cast that, and I cast it's
Yeah.
called Sephram or something like that.
Oh, I
It's a
don't
water
remember.
spell. I can't pronounce it correctly, but it's called Sephram or something like that, where it gives you, for 5 turns, it gives you a debuff shield, and it raises your
Oh,
defense and
I don't
stuff. It
think I have
raises
that one.
your ADF. It raises your
Yeah.
ADF.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, I was using that. I was using that in Crest as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
where that gives you a debuff shield, and I think it ups your defense as well,
Defense.
and it
Yeah.
cures it. Yeah. So I was just like, and I turned Joshua into an invasion tank that time as well, and I buffed every, and what's his face, the Olivier
Olivia. Yeah.
Olivier, he's like super good, dude. He was so good in that fight for
He's a
me because he
really
can,
good
like,
caster, spellcaster.
yeah,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
yeah. He was blinding people, and he was also interrupting a lot of people for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, dude, that fight was super frustrating. I got legitimately got mad. I was like, dude, how the fuck am I supposed to beat these characters if they just fucking go rage mode and take 500 turns or whatever? And people were just like, I was
Yeah.
reading that, speed is your most important stat.
You have
The
to use
accuracy is your
that.
most
You need to
important
buff
stat.
it as well in combat. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Speed seems OP. Like very strong. And if you actually focus on it, the normal fights against regular enemies become a joke because
yeah, yeah,
you're like the bosses. You're taking like 4 turns before the enemies even get to go, and then they're stunned and paralyzed, and you're just beating on them. It's fucking hilarious, actually. I will say, early game, and this is still happening to some degree, but a lot of the chests that have enemies in them. Did you
those
have
things are
trouble,
tough, dude.
dude?
Yeah,
Those fights are fucking brutal, man. The early game ones are insane. Like the one
no,
in the
they're
tower.
still insane, dude. They're still
Yeah.
insane.
But do you remember the one in the tower where you fight like 3 of those guys that self-destruct, the rune things or whatever? And
Yeah,
it's just
yep.
You just have Joshua and Estelle. You don't have anybody else. That fight was fucking nuts because you have 2 people you have to protect as well that are NPCs.
Well,
Like that fight
I was using the
sucked
people
ass.
to my advantage, because
Yeah.
the girl, when she flashes, she blinds them.
Yes, that was helpful. The other guy just runs
Yeah,
away. But
he
they
just
don't have
runs
enough
away.
HP to like just sit there and tank. Like they would die in like 2 hits, I think it was what it was. So
Yeah,
that fight, obviously I eventually cleared it, but that was one of the harder fights I've had in the game, actually, for sure. So
yeah, dude.
but
It's been a couple of fights for me, but you're a little bit more experienced, or not even more experienced, but you're a little bit more. Uh, yeah, you are more experienced with like more complicated systems than I am. Even though this system's not really that complicated, it was just like I had
yeah.
to learn the learning curve of
Yeah, I
the
think
game.
I think I tend towards tactical games, and this game is very tactical, I think.
Yeah,
And you do like I think I realized a little earlier than you did that the stats matter a lot in this game, actually. Like this isn't one of those JRPGs like Tales where you're just yeah, your numbers go up and woo, it's like
yeah,
no,
exactly.
the specific stats you invested actually matter a lot in this game. So which is cool. I think this game is really like, I think the balance so far is awesome. I love playing this on hard because it does feel challenging, but it's not too much. I think the difficulty
Yeah.
above that probably would be too much for either of us, like to the point where we would want to fucking rip our hair out. But I think hard is perfect. And I think they hit a perfect balance with it. And this is rare for JRPGs because like you remember when we played Tales of Arise? Um, I played that game on hard, and if you remember, I was talking. I think you did too, and we were at the end
Yeah.
game. Remember how we were talking about like the regular combats were taking us like 20 minutes because the enemies had so much HP. Like that game was completely out of whack with its balance on harder difficulties. So we can attest to the fact that it's not always a hit to play on hard in these games, and I think this game hits the perfect balance where your party still feels really strong. Like you can make your party very very effective in this game on a harder difficulty, but it's not to the point that you're trivializing the game, you know. And I think that's very important in a JRPG. I don't really like playing JRPGs when the game becomes just you're literally just hitting X because the game is so easy. You don't even have
Yeah,
to think about what you're doing, and that's not happening here. I think this game is very good in that regard. So yeah, I appreciate that a lot. But I guess like let's get into like more specific story spoilers though. Characters and stuff. So yeah, Estelle and Joshua, they're our main characters. I love this duo a lot. I think they're very endearing. Um and I think the voice acting is really strong with both of them as well. I think the voice acting in general is pretty strong in this game. Um, I think I think one of my biggest complaints with the game though is that not all the story scenes are voiced fully.
yeah,
And this is starting to happen more often where like one character has speaking lines where somebody has voiced them and then the rest of the characters are not voiced and it's just text you have to read. I think that's probably my biggest complaint with the game is that. And maybe
yeah.
they'll fix that at some
Unfortunately,
point, but
it does
yeah.
happen more often in the game.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, so I think what they do is they do it with newer characters that you're introduced to, and your older
Yes.
characters, since you already understand how they sound.
Yeah.
I guess you just imagine what what those
Yeah.
voices are saying.
And I don't think it hits very well. I think that's like it's one of the few things that I think is like a big like negative for the game personally.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. They do have more. I mean, they have voice scenes obviously in the game.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
but like, yeah, it's not to the degree how often it is in chapter one. I will say that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I like the overall of the game. Uh I do like Charlotte a lot. But I don't know. I was more leaning towards Olivier, because I
Olivier.
thought he was just
Yeah.
like a really cool. He's a really cool character.
Yeah.
But I think so far throughout the entire game, I think Estelle is my favorite character. I like
Yeah.
her energy.
She's
Um,
very charming. There's
yeah,
something very charming about her. I don't know.
yeah,
Like I think the voice actress does a great job with her, by the way.
yeah,
Um like there yeah, I don't know. Like it's interesting, dude. It's funny to play a JRPG. Like obviously we both love Xenoblade, so we've played games like this before, but to play a JRPG where like the dialogue feels really natural and the way it's delivered feels really natural. There's really not a lot of cringe moments where you're just like, oh, that line didn't come out quite right, you know, or something like that.
yeah.
So I think I don't know. I'm just very impressed with all that, you know. And So I mean, who is your favorite character though? Is it Charizard or is it Estelle?
It's Estelle. Estelle's my favorite
Okay,
character.
okay,
So far my favorite side character is it's probably Olivier. Uh,
yeah.
I liked him a lot. Um,
I haven't. I've seen this guy a couple times, but Agate is kind of cool. I like him. Uh, the
he's
Heavy
okay.
Blade or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Okay,
And I do like another character that you're gonna meet. I'm not gonna say who it is
haven't
or
met them
whatever,
yet.
but I do like
Okay,
another character.
yeah,
But yeah, like I don't know. I thought the game was like really cool. I think the game's really cool. It's really strong. It does have its low moments for me. Um, but that still doesn't deter from the overall thing. I like the overarching. I like the political element to the game because there's becoming a political
yes.
element to the game as well
It's
as
there
like
the whole
kind
time
of
though. Like it's
yeah,
subtle. It's like kind of under the surface. I feel like, but it's there for
yeah.
sure.
And
Um,
I don't know. I think the game's just I think this is a really strong entry for a lot of people, especially to make this game this strong for the first one.
yeah.
They did a really good job, and I don't know if they're gonna remake the other ones or whatever the case may be, but now I'm
They said it
interested more
depends on
into
how this one does. Is how this
okay.
sells. So
Uh, I heard it's selling really well, and it's getting nothing but nines and tens from
Yeah.
eights, nines, and tens from what I'm seeing. So
Yep.
hopefully it sells really well and it doesn't go under the radar. It did release in a really really weird time. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
I'm
Bad
seeing
bad
it.
time,
This
bad
was a sleeper
timing.
hit. Yeah, this was a sleeper hit for me. Like
Yeah.
this was almost like a contender for game of the year for me, in my opinion. I'm like, dude,
Yeah, I
this is
dude,
a contender for game of the year for me,
I totally
honestly.
agree. Like, well, no, because I mean, I'm putting it up against like Claire Obscure, honestly,
Yeah,
because I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
they're both kind of JRPG type games, and I'd say Claire Obscure probably was the game I liked the most so far this year that I've played. But I think this game's edging it out at this point right now. Because I think the reason why is I'm kind of liking the straightforward nature of the story in this game, whereas Claire Obscure, I think, had that twist that didn't quite land with me as much.
Mm,
And I
yeah.
think that's kind of edging it out. Is like I like that, like I don't like this game's not gonna turn into like I know for a fact it's not gonna turn into a fucking some other weird genre that it isn't right now, you know. And I kind of like that
Yeah.
fact. They're not gonna
I
they're not like the twist is what's going to happen in the story, you know, with the
yeah, I
characters
don't
and
think it's
the
gonna turn into
nation.
like a Tales game where like an
Yeah.
alien comes out of nowhere.
Oh,
You're like,
the
dude,
fucking
what the
no! There's a yeah, there's an alien in the moon, and he's fucking he's gonna blow up the planet. You know, like no, I don't expect something like that to happen here. So, I appreciate that that we're not trying to make the audience fucking lose their hair or whatever. I don't know. So yeah, no, I think this game is really strong, and well, I guess the question for you, maybe this is a little early to ask this, but when you're finished with this, do you think you're going to continue or are you just going to wait for the next remake if it happens?
if it doesn't happen, I'm gonna continue. Like if they don't announce it or anything like that within the next year,
Hmm.
I am gonna continue to play.
Yeah.
Um, because I mean, did they? I mean, because I don't know the old ones, like the first series, the first chapter. I'm assuming is like really old, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah, I mean, these games are all from 2000. I think the first one came out in 2004, and I want to say they were done with the trilogy by 2007 or 6. So these games came out pretty quick in sequence back in the day, but um, but I mean, the series itself though is not over. So there's like the latest game, Trails of Daybreak 2 is not like they're not done for sure. I think they're close to done with the current arc, and then I think there's supposed to be one or two more arcs after that. So there's probably another decade of games coming from the series, um, at a minimum.
so I mean, it
So
looks
yeah.
like they did confirm that they're gonna make two. They're gonna make a remake of two. So
Oh, did they?
yeah,
Okay.
confirmed on the first. It looks like they asked the president, and he's like, "Yeah, it would make sense that we have to make it two." So uh,
Interesting. Cool. Okay. Well, that's good then, because yeah, I mean, if they're gonna do two, they got to do the third one for sure, right?
yeah,
Beyond that, I don't know if they'll actually do anything beyond that.
yeah.
Um,
I think the other ones are more modern. So, and when I mean modern, I mean like they have a little bit more,
PS3,
little more, yeah,
yeah.
PS3.
Well, it was Cold
So
Steel. That's when they went 3D like this. And that
okay,
I think is the sixth game I believe in the series. I think the first five are PSP games.
okay.
PSP slash no, yeah, I think they're all PSP. So, um, which isn't it interesting that this series was popular enough for them to keep making it, and it was a PSP game for the longest time. You know, it's like
I
isn't that
mean,
isn't that funny? Like,
I get it, dude. If I played this on the PSP and the story it was like the exact
mhm,
same,
yeah,
I probably would have loved this shit too. I actually went to like one of the fucking Reddits and people were like, I absolutely adore the Xenoblade series. And then like people were like, yeah, like you would love this game. And
yeah,
then he edited, he's like, yeah, I fucking love this game, dude. And I think that's just like the type of JRPG I like. I like slow burners, but not too slow. But like
yeah.
because this game also does the same thing that Xenoblade does. It layer mechanics 20 hours.
Yes.
I'm 50 hours into the game, bro, and they just introduced another
Yeah.
mechanic.
Okay.
So
Cool.
so yeah, I love stuff like that. I love when I don't get everything like in the first 10 or 15 hours of the game or whatever. So it does hinder
Yeah.
replayability, but sometimes I think these games aren't really designed to be replayed, if that makes any sense.
I agree. They're too long, dude. Like, who wants to play
Yeah.
a fucking 70-hour JRPG multiple times in a row? Like, come on, dude. Like, come on. But no, I prefer that as well because I am getting to a point with the combat where I'm like, I've got it down at this point. I feel like, and I kind of need that next piece, to like make it interesting again, to really
Mhm.
finalize things. Um, so yeah. All right. Cool. Well, we're gonna keep playing this. I don't know if we'll beat it by next week. I think Montreal might. I don't know about myself. I'm really taking this game slow. Like I am smelling the fucking roses, bro. Like I don't know. Are you doing all the side missions and
Yeah.
stuff? You are.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. The game this is actually a negative of the game too, I think though, is you have a limited time to do the side missions a lot of the time, and I think it's as long as you're doing things when they pop up in this game, you're going to be fine. But
Yeah.
if you don't, there are some very short windows sometimes with some of these things where you can permanently miss them. I think that is kind of a negative aspect of the game for sure. But
Yeah, for sure.
um,
Yeah.
so if you're gonna play it and you want to full complete it, like I recommend, if you see any side stuff, do that side stuff before you continue the story. Like, do not go to the next story segment. Um, so yeah. All right, cool. Well, Wancho, let's continue on into our news segment here. So we have a few stories this week. Got a couple big ones as well. So this has been a rumor for a while. We talked about the rumor about EA. I don't know. I don't even remember how long ago it was at this point where they were potentially going to merge with NBC Universal. That never happened, obviously. And this seems like this might have been their secondary plan or plan B. Is they announced that they are being acquired this week in a leveraged buyout of $55 billion, and they are being purchased by three groups that are splitting this. It's going to be the Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, Jared Kushner, his fund, Affinity Partners, his equity firm, and then a third that I don't think we know the name of, but they're also a private equity firm in the U.S. So Kushner's Affinity Partners is largely funded by Saudi Arabia. So basically, 2/3 of this buyout is being purchased with Saudi Arabian money. Another aspect of this that's very important is it's a leveraged buyout. So EA is being saddled with like $20 billion of debt that they are going to have to pay off as a company as well. And the deal is expected to be done in early 2027 is the speculation there. Um, but yeah, I mean Montreal. So EA is getting purchased. I mean, what do you think of this story? This is a crazy one in my opinion.
Yeah. I think this is like one of the biggest acquisitions that can affect gaming in general.
Yeah, it's the
I
biggest
don't like
leverage
it.
buyout that's ever happened. By the way,
Oh, really?
yes,
Yeah, I don't think um I don't like it. I don't like where it's going. Um, I'm already seeing like rumors and stuff like that of the owners are gonna want them to use fucking AI and shit like that.
yeah,
My friend who works for Respawn, he's he's like kind of shaken up by it because he doesn't know what the future of Respawn
mm,
Entertainment is.
mm-hmm.
Um, and unfortunately, I'm going to get political a little bit, but a lot of people already know about Saudi Arabia. And their dealings and stuff like that, and how they feel about like LGBT characters and all that stuff
Yeah,
like that. So a lot of people are suspecting that a lot of projects are just going to get shut down because they don't want that coming from, even though they're only one of the three groups, um, they don't want that representing the products they make or whatever. So a lot of
Yeah.
people are expecting like BioWare to get shut down and Mass Effect to get canceled or
Mhm.
either severely changed. Obviously, fucking Apex might get severely changed or get
Yeah.
shut down because almost all their characters are some sort of LGBT. So I think there's going to be a huge culture shift, and I don't know if that's the shift we need. If that makes any sense, I know it
Yeah.
shifted one way heavily, the other way, but now it seems like the pendulum is swinging heavily the other way, and I think both sides are bad. I think we just need to meet in the middle somewhere as far as like this type of thing.
Yeah.
But we don't know yet. We don't know yet. But that is my biggest worry is the studios closing, the
Yeah.
AI and the culture change that's going to happen,
Yeah.
or to appease what they're going to do. Because we've seen this with other companies. I mean, we've seen like Blizzard how they shut down certain during the Hong Kong thing when they got acquired by like a Chinese company and the Hong Kong thing was going on and people were trying to
Yeah.
stand up for Hong Kong or just represent Hong Kong or Taiwan and they were like no they're China they're not Hong Kong or they're not Taiwan or Taiwanese or anything like that so
Yeah. Yeah.
um we actually see the effects and to say like the politics doesn't really matter is kind of being disingenuous in my opinion. But yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so obviously this is a big deal. I think we've talked about game companies being public a lot on the show and how negative that can be for them and it's true. The quarterly expectation of profits raising is not a natural state for video game companies to exist in.
Hmm.
They just do not. They're not fast enough developing their products and selling things to be able to do that consistently. But in this particular case, going private is not necessarily a positive thing either. And I think the just to touch on the Saudi piece real quick, they haven't done anything overt quite yet with anything they've purchased in the regards of like, you know, silencing things that are kind of against their beliefs or anything like that. They haven't done that with any of the companies they own quite yet, at least in a
Hmm.
like a majorly overt way. But eventually that may come. Obviously they're trying to diversify their economy,
Yep.
is what they're trying to do, because they're so reliant on oil. They recognize that eventually that's not going to the country will just fall apart, when oil is no longer needed or they run out of oil, eventually down the road. So that's what they're trying to do. But I think the bigger thing here that I want to key on though is the $20 billion in debt. Um, I don't understand. Montreal, I don't know. Maybe you can explain this to me. I don't understand how this is legal, that you can come in and buy something and you can take on debt and make the company you're buying pay it down. Like, obviously, you own it. So I guess that sort of makes sense to some degree, but it's kind of it's an absurd amount of money to saddle on a company. 20 billion. Like, just to give people some context here of how crazy this is for EA, is EA's like total revenue in 2024 was 7.5 billion and their gross profit was 5.8 billion. That's after their expenses to make the products that they make. However, their actual net income was only 1.2 billion, or about 1.3 billion if you round up, last year, which that is after everything's paying, the debt they owe, taxes, fees, all this shit, right? So put that in perspective, they're going to have to pay interest on this debt because obviously it's a loan. And if that interest is, let's just say 5%, let's just throw that number out there. That's $1 billion a year off that top end amount of 20 billion. So they're not really going, if they put all of their net income into paying this debt down, they're only going to be like ahead 300 million a year, and it's going to take them forever to pay that debt down with their, obviously that's why we're hearing rumors about the use of AI and, making the company more lean and maybe potentially cutting staff and stuff like that. And I mean, there's people speculating that they might start selling IP. They could sell studios and stuff like that, which we can get into that here in a bit. But I think being saddled with this much debt is, for a company like EA, they're probably going to be fine. But for a lesser company, it would eventually destroy the company. Like they, it's so much. It's crazy that like it's an insane number in my opinion that they're being saddled with. I can't I don't know. I can't get over that. Like and I think it's going to force them to change operations. Like in that, while I think nobody's going to sit here and argue that we're all happy with the way EA has been operating, I think hearing the word AI and getting more efficient and stuff like that, those are not the phrases that we want to hear for a company like this as it stands. So I think this buyout ends up becoming very negative for EA as a whole. And I mean, like, getting into the nitty gritty with this is like, companies like like a studio like BioWare, I think, is very much in the crosshairs now of either getting sold or closed, or significantly downsized to some degree. There's like, they've been a prestige studio for EA since they were purchased, and they haven't exactly succeeded at that for EA for like a decade now. And I think these new owners probably will come in and evaluate this studio and be like, why do we even have these guys? I think that's a very real question that may come up. So I think BioWare is certainly in the crosshairs. I think obviously the sports teams are totally safe. I would imagine that the Battlefield teams are probably safe. Respawn, even to a degree, I think would be relatively safe. Like, I wouldn't be too worried about them given how successful Apex has been. Obviously, that has declined in recent years, but I still think they're successful with their Star Wars games as well. So
Yeah.
um, they're not totally reliant on that live service income. So I think Respawn, but it's interesting though that the Respawn could be restructured in some way, and EA just recently restructured themselves as well, split between their sports franchises, and then they like EA Entertainment is everything non-sports related. So that probably seems like it was done for this buyout purposes. Um, yeah, I think Respawn's probably okay. The Sims teams are probably safe, but anything else outside of those things, man, I think all of that is up in the air at this point. And what it looks like going forward is going to be a total, is going to be a mystery to some degree until we see what they decide to do. But I am definitely not excited about the idea of a Saudi run EA using AI to become more efficient at making video games. I am not excited by any of those words personally. So I don't know, this deal is, I mean, it's crazy. It's obviously it's not the biggest deal. The Activision deal still trumps it at 69 billion, but um in terms of its impact on the industry, though, I think this could end up being larger than the Activision one was, because I think we're going to see some significant changes from EA going forward, more than likely. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
I agree.
Yeah. Montreal, any other thoughts on this one? Or
I mean, no, I did want to say, like, I think the positives of going private, like you said, is you're not beholden to the shareholders or
right,
correlated investments. So, I
right.
mean, if that's the case, I'll try to be positive and say, like, maybe they'll give these companies a chance to actually, you know, make something that they want to make, and at least give them like a chance to do it before they close them down. Like, maybe they'll
Yeah.
actually do that,
Yeah.
or maybe they
Right.
won't. Another positive thing is, I mean, it's not necessarily positive, but maybe they do sell off franchises or studios to other publishers or um, investors that will actually value them, and let them do what they need to do, or let them do what they want to do, rather, stuff like
Yeah.
that. So, uh, yeah,
Yep.
maybe that would be a good thing.
Yeah, like I would love to see BioWare bought by like Sony or something.
Yeah.
Maybe coming with Mass Effect and or Dragon Age, that would be great.
Yep.
I think that would be a very good get for Sony, cuz they don't really have a studio that makes those kind of games. I know I know they would point to Gorilla and Horizon, but Horizon is not a RPG. Like, we need to stop
but
calling it one.
Justin,
But
it has damage numbers and you
fuck
can shoot.
off, okay? Oh, it has skill trees. Oh, okay. Oh, but you have a dialogue wheel. Oh.
Yep. I was going to say that you have a dialogue wheel. What are you talking about?
Fucking kill me, dude. So I think it would be a good purchase for them, similar to like Eidos and Deus Ex. Actually, I think Sony could use something like that in their portfolio. So I think that would make sense. Other things, I mean, I'm trying to think of what else EA even owns. EA owns like a fuck ton of IP, dude, like a asinine amount of video game IP. So I don't know, we might hear some interesting things in the coming, I mean, I don't know like when we would start. It probably would wait till the deal is done, probably before those things start happening. So, in 2027, I guess, but we'll be following this for sure. This one I also think is I almost think there's almost 0% chance that this has any issue going through in the US. Um the Saudi thing is really the only thing that could hold it up, honestly, but otherwise I think this will probably happen. So,
Yeah, I think this is a done deal. So
yeah.
it's like a 95% chance that it just goes through.
Yep. All right. Let's move on, Montreal, to our next story. Is Xbox. They have announced as of yesterday that they are changing the structure of Game Pass yet again, and this is resulting in a 50% increase in the highest tier in Ultimate. Is going from $19.99 a month to $29.99 a month, so $30. Premium is going to be $14.99 a month, and then Essential is going to be $9.99 a month. Basically, and this is how they broke it down. I don't know, so we don't know exactly. I wasn't able to find like a list of what games are in each service, but Essential is going to have 50-ish games to start. They said 50 plus, and then Premium is going to have 200 plus games, and then Ultimate will have everything that's available via Game Pass, basically. But it is also going to include EA Play, Ubisoft Plus Classics, and then Fortnite Crew, which are all subscriptions that are going to be included in Game Pass Ultimate. I believe the Ubisoft one I think is $8 a month. I think EA Play is a similar amount, and then the Fortnite Crew is like 12 a month or something like that. All of these on their own. So if you add those up, Microsoft's going to argue that, oh well, you're getting your value of those three things just right there. The rest of it's just gravy. But the reality is that this is resulting in a 50% increase per month over the current Game Pass rates, and Microsoft can try to justify it however they want. An increase is an increase. So, Montreal, how does this take? How do you take this one? This is a big one.
Um, I don't know. Are they just trying to kill the brand at this point? I
Increasing the console prices twice in 6
yeah,
months, and yeah, right. I mean,
like
they increased Game Pass like 6 months ago too, right? Didn't they?
yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, if you want to be generous, right? You're like, well, they increased the console prices because of tariffs. Like, okay, I can maybe grant you that. I'll let you get away with that. But I don't understand the point of increasing the subscription prices.
Yeah.
Um, if anything, you should be lowering them to get more people in, and it
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense why they're doing it. I think the reason why they're doing it is because it's becoming an unsustainable model for them.
Yeah. They're actually they're
Um,
trying to actually make money now, I think.
yeah, yeah. And I don't know, man. Like I just think this is this is not the way to do it. I I do want to say this. I think Netflix was a mistake. I think Netflix is one of the biggest mistakes. One
Yeah.
of the biggest like butterfly moments in the history of like our services and stuff like that.
Entertainment. Yeah.
Yep. Because while they may not have started the subscription model, they certainly popularized it. And
Yes.
now everyone's doing this. and now everyone's like, whenever Netflix makes a move, everyone else makes that move behind Netflix. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think they're like the leaders in the industry or whatever, people still treat them as such and move accordingly. And uh now we're seeing, like you said before, like this is like the cable of video games. Like I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
why you would even want to get the subscription anymore. Like
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
$30 a month on top of having uh so you get what 75 day one games a year, including all Xbox published games day one and stuff like that. I just don't understand the point of that because you haven't dropped anything. You
Yeah.
see, you see what I'm saying? Like
Well,
this would be. I mean, they have
they
right,
have
but
this year. Let's be fair to them. But yeah.
I mean, what had they dropped?
Well,
Clear
I
Obscure
played
is
I
on.
played Claire Obscure on Game Pass actually earlier this
Okay.
year, but there was Doom. There was a few games they had a
Oh
no, Forza
yeah.
was on PlayStation.
Uh,
Um, but they've had a few releases this year.
I mean, yeah.
What
I
was
think
the
it's
one
funny that they showed.
South of Midnight?
Yeah, South of Midnight. Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, it's a good game, but it's not $30 a month. Good game for me.
Yeah.
I think it's funny how they have fucking League in their fucking thing as well.
They mentioned
Um,
Riot multiple times in their graphic that you get benefits on in Riot games as well, which is really funny. But yeah, no, the cable thing. Yeah, I mentioned that pre-show. Like, dude, that's what this screams to me is like, let's throw in as much shit as we can that nobody cares about to make this feel like it's valuable, more valuable. Who the fuck is buying Game Pass for Ubisoft Plus or EA Play or Fortnite Crew or whatever the fuck? Like these things are. This is just like they're just throw-ins. And I think this is like they have crossed a threshold here, and they decided to do it very strongly. Where Game Pass was still a thing, I think you could reasonably have on the side of playing games and not feel too bad about it, even if you didn't utilize it. It is now to the point that like you're paying $360 a year for this service. This needs to be your main mode of consuming video games, I think, at this point now. And
yeah,
um, for somebody like me or you, I think there's a 0% chance we would ever sign up for this, you know, basically because we don't consume games through these services. Like we're not going to restrict ourselves to what's on Xbox Game Pass. It's like Trails in the Sky first chapter is not on Xbox Game Pass. It's like, and it's just there's going to be games that aren't on here that we want to play. And I'm not going to pay for this fucking service. That's half the cost of the fucking game per month. It's crazy actually to think about. Because yeah, that's 5 full cost $70 games per year that you need to absorb basically to make it worth it at a minimum, you know. So I don't know. I think it's I'll be interested to see how this changes things for them. Like, do they lose a lot of people off of this? Because I think a lot of people are having the same thought process of what I just said. And I think for a lot of people, they're going to probably decide to cut this because honestly, it's still a very legitimate strategy in video games to not play anything new and wait for games to go on sale. And that still happens very rapidly in the industry. You can wait 3 months and get a game 30% off, that happens all the time. Like Death Stranding 2, for instance, actually, I bought that earlier in September and it was 30% off. I think I got it for 45 bucks or something like that, something along those lines. So, it's not hard to do. And I think a lot of people will revert to that method, probably. Um, and we're going to talk about another story here coming up with Xbox. It just feels like things are unraveling a little bit for them, slowly but surely. And to your point, like they're just pushing it along. I mean, I think we all knew this would eventually come here. This is the whole point. Like you said, the Netflix model was you lose money for a long time and you get millions and millions and millions and tens of millions of subscribers, and then you make it so essential for them and then you increase the price, so then you start making real revenue at that point. But Xbox Game Pass is not Netflix. I think
Yeah,
many gamers could survive without Xbox Game Pass.
'cause
So
I'm trying to see the logic, and I think their logic is this: you buy the console, and then you pay a subscription fee for it, which
yeah,
is $30. You pay for the
yeah,
ultimate, right? And you get all those games. They also have ways that you can earn by playing the games. This has happened to me multiple times. I'm playing on my Xbox. I don't know what the fuck it is, but then I check it and I get like $5 here or there for like an achievement or whatever.
yeah,
So you get money for playing the game. You
yeah.
can get up to
Right.
$100.
Yeah.
So in their eyes, right? If you want to look at it logically, you can buy if you're playing your games consistently, and let's say you get $100 a month, or it's per year actually.
Per
Fuck,
year.
never
Per
mind,
year.
never
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
just say like if you could do it for a month, you get a free game that you can buy that's not on Game Pass or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, because we like a lot of different games. I can see this being a deal for someone with an Xbox Series S, and maybe they don't have the money to buy a video game every month or every couple months or whatever.
Yeah.
This can possibly be a deal for them because you're only paying $30 and you're getting like a shit ton of games.
Right. But you are
Yeah,
restricted to what's in this catalog. Like, you're
true.
basically making the choice that if something's not on Game Pass and you want to play it, like, you're not going to be able to buy it if that's how tight your budget is.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and I don't think that's worth it personally. I wouldn't make that choice. Like, if my choice was Game Pass is the only thing I can do, or I could have some money available to buy whatever games I want, I would go with the buy whatever games I want method personally. You know,
Yeah, I mean that's
um,
true. But some people would think, okay, I get Game Pass and then I play one of these games for a couple months or whatever. Like for
yeah,
instance, I may play Fallout 4 or whatever, or Fallout New Vegas, and that's like depending on what you do, that's like a months of fucking
hmm,
gameplay, or you play Diablo or whatever, right? And then let's say Trails of the Sky comes out, and then they're like, "Oh, Trails of the Sky is on Game Pass 3, 4, 5 months after released. Now you get Trails of the Sky for free." But to your point, I also already spent $30 for that 4 months. That's $120 when I could have just
right,
bought the game for $70
right,
and got it, right
yeah,
then and there.
right,
So it's I don't know. It's all in the matter of perspective. I see where they're trying to go with it. I just don't think it's a good idea. I think they should just scrap Game Pass altogether, to be honest with you, or revamp it or
yeah.
something.
We might be on
Um,
our way to that at this point. No, it's just, I mean, dude, this is the point I'm going to make though. Take that $30, right, and wait for a sale on Xbox or PlayStation, on the digital store, and take that $30 and just see how many games you can buy. You know, you would
yeah,
probably be surprised at how far that will go. If you're not focused on brand new games, which if you're going to sign up to a service like Xbox Game Pass, you're probably not keyed on brand new games because you're not getting that many of those, per se. So, like, I don't know. I think I don't know. I like you said, I think we might be at the beginning of the end for this. I mean, they still have 30 million people plus subscribed, but we'll see. I mean, we're probably never going to find out. They're not going to tell us if they lose 10 million people, but you know, I really do wonder. There's a lot of people this week probably thinking about this long term and deciding whether they want to continue with this or not, you know. So,
yeah. I don't think the economy is the best right now. So,
oh my god,
um,
dude, I was talking with Jet and Brian today about some things cuz we have some vendors that are trying to fucking gouge us right now. Where like software vendors, I don't know if you've experienced this at your job, but like, dude, software vendors the last like year or two are out of their minds. Like, they are literally trying to double prices, like,
I mean,
straight up.
yeah. I mean,
You
we've
know,
been lucky to with the deals that we've made so far, but no, it's definitely either they're they're lacking. They're trying to renew, and their services aren't as good as it used to be. And they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, we can renew, but it's gonna be this much." And we're like, "No, fuck you. We're going to another vendor or whatever."
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. But continue. I'm sorry.
But well, yeah, so like so it's happening on the corporate side, but also like we were talking about the state fair as well because I was looking around, I was just reading last night online and people were talking about the state fair of Texas and how ridiculous the pricing has become there. And like dude, it's like $12 to like play like a stupid, those stupid fair games, like one play of one of those games.
What?
Like $12 a play. Or like going on one of the rides is like $10 to $15 per person for one ride. That's where the pricing has gotten to. And to your like that like this is happening everywhere, and I don't know what the end point is for this. Is I just feel like the economy is like for actual normal people, I don't know how people are living off sub 50,000 a year, like right now. Like it's gotten completely insane. um
No, I agree.
Grocery pricing is out of control, like
Oh my
everything is
god,
just
dude.
going way up, dude. It's
Groceries
bad.
are insane. I like a steak is
Yeah.
like $20 now, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like you're like sitting there like, dude, like I could go out to eat, for that much
Yeah.
probably. It's like I don't know. It's or you're at the point where you're sitting there like, do I just eat pasta every night for like $5? It's like, dude,
Exactly, dude. Yeah.
yeah.
Like
I don't
I
know.
don't know. Um
So
I just
given
think
all
every
that, this is like it's just like continuing to erode everywhere. Like I feel like it's happening in gaming. Like gaming's going crazy right now with the price increases. Like it's just like everybody's doing it, now. And I think the economy in general is eroding for normal people everywhere on all sides. So this kind of discretionary spend on video games and stuff like this is I think it's really ballsy to go this hard for Microsoft with Xbox Game Pass. Like I don't think this is going to pay off for them in the long run. I think people are going to cut this because they can't afford to spend $30 a month on a subscription, Like that is a lot of money, dude. It's not the kind of thing that you set and forget anymore. The $7 Netflix subscription was a set and forget type thing. Like that's so little money, who cares, bro? For how much value I'm getting, I don't give a shit. But we're well beyond that now at this point with how expensive these things have become. Like even Netflix, dude, is like, isn't it like $25 a month or something at this point? Like it's
yeah, dude.
completely
It's
insane.
with
So
ads or something like that. I
yeah,
don't know.
with the fucking ads, it's it's just it's too much. So I don't know. I think Microsoft is taking a big gamble here. I think so. We shall certainly see. Um, I'm gonna move the other story up actually because we have another Xbox story, so I'm moving this one up. There's been reporting this week, or actually last week, late last week, that Costco, the wholesale club, um, is no longer carrying Xbox consoles or games going forward, and they have confirmed this to a few people out there that have called them and asked about it, and they haven't given any specific reasoning why, but they're not carrying it anymore. And it kind of feels like the answers are obvious, that the console doesn't sell, the games don't sell, and they're just like, fuck it, we're done. Like we can give this shelf space to something that will sell. And Costco is, while it is not a big retailer from a video game standpoint necessarily, it is a big retailer though. One of the biggest out there, period. And this is not a small thing necessarily. It's very interesting that they are doing this. I do wonder if there are others maybe down the pipe soon that are going to do similar things. But I don't know. What do you think, Montreal?
I mean, yeah, if it's not selling, then I don't want it on my shelf.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, I think it's pretty
Yeah.
simple, and clear cut. I understand like people want it for like reporting reasons they want a statement or whatever. But I think it's obvious. And I mean, I see people, like, I see the article trying to hint that maybe something going on with China and the tariffs or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think that's the case.
I don't think
I
that's
think
the
the
case,
console just
dude.
doesn't sell, and
Yeah,
Costco's like, let's
it
get this
wasn't
shit out of
selling
here.
before the tariffs, man. Like,
Yeah, right.
I don't think the tariffs are the issue. I think, you know, it's just not a good console. I mean, it is a good console, because I actually like some of the features on the console,
Yeah,
but the games just aren't there, man. Like I even said last week, I'm transitioning on rebeating the games that I did beat that was on this generation, uh, onto my PlayStation or whatever. So it's like,
yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about selling mine, dude. My Xbox.
yeah.
Um, because I just
The
don't,
only
dude.
reason
Like,
I'm not selling mine is 'cause I like the backwards compatibility with my Xbox 360 games. So that's the only
yeah.
reason I'm not selling it.
But yeah, and I don't care about that. And dude, I haven't really
Yeah.
touched this Like, I played Claire Obscure on it, but only because I had an Xbox Game Pass code available that I had already purchased. And I decided to use it to play that game for free, basically. But otherwise, like, I haven't touched this console in 2 years, probably, like, realistically. And there's just not a lot of reason to play on it. I mean, PlayStation just gives me everything I need, you know, and they have more games than Xbox does. There's just a lot of games that don't come to Xbox, and that's like a real thing. So, and Game Pass now with these price increases, it's like this is pushing me even further to get rid of it because it's like I'm never signing up for this service. Like, fuck that, dude. I'm not spending $30 a month on this shit. You know. So I think they're out of their mind, because, like, think about PlayStation's version of Game Pass. We didn't actually mention this in the last story, but dude, like, you can get the highest tier of PlayStation subscription for, what is it, 110 when it's on sale during the holidays or something like that for the whole year, you know? Whereas
Mhm.
Xbox is charging over 3x that amount, you know? Um, so it's I don't know. It's like that's kind of another aspect to that we didn't mention, but competitively against PlayStation, like, they're not looking very competitive right now. Beyond the fact that you get day one Xbox games, basically. So
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. Okay. Let's move on. We got one more story here, and then that'll be it for today. Ubisoft, we've been talking about this for months. Their kind of deal with Tencent, whatever's going on. They finally announced what they're doing. They've announced a subsidiary that is going to be backed by Tencent. Tencent's going to own 25% of this and be on their advisory board. Um, and it is a new studio called Vantage Studios that is going to be taking charge of the following franchises: Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six Siege. Um, and it's going to be about 2,300 employees. There's a whole bunch of corporate speak about how this is going to make them, they're going to have more ownership of the games they develop, blah, 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 whatever. Um, but there is the other 17,000 to 18,000 employees that work at Ubisoft that we do not really know what the plan with them is. So it seems clear that these three specific groups of teams are going to be, they're the money makers, right? They make all the money. They make the games that make the money. They're going to be definitely safe going forward. The rest of Ubisoft, I think, is very much an open question at this point. There is a notable team that wasn't included in this, and that is Massive, who have made the Division games, as well as I think they made the Avatar game that came out, Frontiers of Pandora, as well. They've made a lot of big games for Ubisoft, actually, so they're interestingly not included in this move. They're in the Ubisoft side of things still. So, um, Montreal, what do you make of this move? Do you think we're going to see massive layoffs at Ubisoft soon, or?
Uh, I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. I did see that they moved everything over, but I wasn't too sure what to make of this move.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's a weird situation, honestly.
yeah,
Like, it is a very strange situation. Um, I don't know if they're trying to like eventually close Ubisoft as a like company at some point and only keep the things that are valuable, in this new venture. Um, but I mean, Ubisoft just has so much. It's like I said, 18,000 employees that are still employed there. Um, I mean, what are you doing with all of them? You can't close all these teams, or I mean, I guess you could, but like that just seems wasteful, to some degree. So, I don't know. I can't really see the long term goal slash strategy here necessarily. I see it to some degree, which I mean, I think obviously they're trying to siphon off the things that are valuable. Um, but you know, the things that still have value to some degree, like what are you doing with those? Are they going to sell them? Are they going to close them? Are they going to move them over to at some point? I don't really know. I don't know. So, I do think it's a weird deal as well. But um, I mean, isn't it interesting though that Massive's not in there? Like, I feel like that's a big team that they're you know not including.
Well, I still think they have plans for massive. I think they're going to drop another division before they let them go or before they put them
Mm,
over to that.
yeah,
Because, like I said, they are ramping up DLC for Division 2 and stuff like that. It's still coming out with content and everything of that nature. So I
yeah.
think we're going to get one more Division game or something of that nature before. So
Hmm. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, we'll continue to follow this one, and see what happens with Ubisoft. But some interesting stuff going on there. All right, well, Montreal, that's all we got for news this week. There's nothing else really going on. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we head out today?
nope, that is it. Well, that is it. But I do want to say one thing. Like I just think um there needs to be more nuanced discussion when it comes to video games, especially online.
Hmm.
I, I saw a tweet today that someone said like, uh, playing single player games is fine and preferring single player games is fine. Um, but pretty much they were saying like you can't call multiplayer games trash, but then praise other multiplayer games like the little couch co-op games or whatever the case may be. And I
Hmm.
was just like, he's like, uh, you can't say like you can't just say like they're lesser than other games. And I'm saying you can't say that they're just less than like pretty much saying like they're above other games or whatever the case may be. Like multiplayer games
Hmm.
are lesser than games, and those gamers are lesser than. Now I don't agree with
Mm,
calling like the gamers less than, but
yeah.
I am for damn sure gonna call multiplayer games, not all of them, but when I say like there are some low quality, lesser than multiplayer games, yes, talking about your Call of Duties. I'm talking about those type of games. Uh, Call of Duty, I would say to a certain degree, maybe Fortnite in a way. I
Definitely.
know that's a hot take because whatever.
Hmm.
Because some people like that stuff. And I'll even say to a lesser degree, to another degree, like all of these like 4-player co-op scary co-op games that came out
Yeah.
recently. Like, there's been like a shit ton of them or
Yep.
whatever. There's so many of them that I can't even keep count of the names.
We're getting to
Those are
slop
low,
territory with them at this point.
yeah, and that is like low quality shit, bro. Like those are less than. I mean, yeah, you can enjoy it. Like if I know some Sonic games are ass. And I'm like, I enjoy those ass Sonic games. Like that's an ass game or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
But I enjoy it. Like, just own up to it. Just because you like it or you're trying to be like a pacifist, I'm like, oh, all games are created equally. No, they're not. Some games are legitimate ass. And like I would never compare like a Call of Duty game to like a couch co-op game like Rival City Girls or
Hmm.
Streets of Rage
Hmm.
4 or something of that nature, right? I can't do that. That's not honest. That's not an honest thing or whatever. Because I think Marvel Cosmic or whatever just dropped the demo for it, and people are like praising it or whatever.
Yeah.
And then some people were like, "Well, I'm tired of the friend slop games or whatever." But they are talking about games like the plasmophobia type games and uh
There's like a
some
climbing game that came out recently. That's one of
yeah,
those. Yeah.
a climbing game or whatever. And like those games are like fun for like watching other people play and streaming. That's what they're designed for, in my opinion. But like we don't play those type of games or whatever. So it's like, and they are. I don't want to say they're slop, but people are just pooping these games out, dude. Like, let's
Yeah.
be honest, you know. And I don't know. I think if you're gonna try to counter the slop thing, you have to be nuanced. You can't afford to say like, well, all multiplayer games are good, just not the ones that you like. And it's like, no, there are certain degrees of games that are good, and there are
Yeah.
certain degrees of games that are bad. There are certain degrees of single player games that are complete slop. And then there are certain degrees of single player games that are good. There are certain degree of JRPGs that are complete slop. And then there are
Yeah.
some of them that are like really good. So it's like there's slop in every genre.
Yeah.
And to not be nuanced about that discussion is very, very disingenuous in my opinion. But it happens all the time by these big follower accounts. And
Mm.
I'm frankly, I think that's what it is. I'm getting tired of like these big
Mm.
when I say no name, like they're big on Twitter, but you never heard of them outside of Twitter accounts, like
Mm.
gaining followings and having these very like hard opinions on video games is actually shifting the landscape, and I don't like
Yeah.
it. Like I actually hate it actually because they are shifting the landscape of video games. They are shifting the conversation to video games, whether people like to admit it or not. And I'll be the first to admit it. Like these big no name accounts on Twitter and maybe Instagram. I don't really see too much on Instagram, but Twitter and like Blue Sky and even some degrees to like Reddit or whatever the case may be. Uh, uh sometimes their career doesn't take off in the streaming world, so they just go to those things to make money. And I think it's very dishonest. And I think some people need to call it out. The problem is we don't have a very honest publication or outlet for video games anymore. Like
Yeah.
everyone has an agenda, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, like
Right.
we were just talking about Ghost of Yotai last week, how we know that me and you know that's going to be a good game, but
Right.
it was this weird agenda to shit on the last game to make
Yeah.
the good
Right.
game, this game look good, you know?
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's just
Which is completely unnecessary. Yeah. It's like,
exactly. It was a completely unnecessary agenda that I feel like almost everybody unanimously signed up for. And
yeah.
I don't know. I think my whole thing with that is just like I want more nuanced discussion in video games. One, and two, I want people to be. We need outlets that are like very, very honest with their opinions.
Yeah.
We're very honest in our bias on certain things. Like
Mhm.
DJ would call us out about the sports games and stuff like that, but we fucking hate sports games. We love sports, but we fucking hate sports games, and
Yeah.
we would tell you we are not the best source for sports games,
Hey,
like
bro, he's
at
on.
all.
He's coming around to our point of view at this point with 2K and stuff. So I mean, we got him. We got him, Macho.
Yeah, but like if like I'm trying to think of a game that neither one of us play or whatever, or games that neither one of us play or whatever. Like we're not the best source for I don't know, gotcha not gotcha games, but like monster games or something like that, right? Like
Oh
catch 'em
yeah, I
all
mean
monster games.
like I don't know, like Stardew Valley or something. Like
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
we don't play
we
those
don't play
games.
those
Yeah, right,
games, but we don't shit on them actively. But we're not
right,
the best source of information. So if someone was to ask my opinion of those games, I would say I honestly don't know. They're not for me, but they're not
right,
trash. But
right.
they're just not for me, or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
And I think that's an honest opinion. Whereas like other people feel like they have to have an opinion on it. They feel like they have to know something because they may be some big name account or they're a part of IGN or they are
Right.
IGN and they need to have something and they may make up some bullshit or whatever. And it's just like it's just
Yeah.
not a fair assumption. Like for instance, the Digimon game came out just recently, or they start throwing out reviews for it. And a person was just a reviewer was talking about it and saying like, oh, like it doesn't make sense. The difficulty spikes don't make sense or whatever. I was fighting a Digimon. Some Digimon I had to like some Digimon boss battles I had to like brute force my way through or turn the difficulty down. And what a lot of people don't realize about Digimon is there is a trifecta wheel there. There's vaccine data, and then there's another one I can't remember what the other third one is. But like
Mm-hmm.
if you in virus types, and if you that I think data beats vaccine or data beats virus beats vaccine, and vaccine beats data. So he was, and people were looking at his screenshot that he posted about one of the bosses, and everybody was like, "Dude, you're playing against a vaccine against a data type. No wonder you're getting your or a vaccine against a virus type. No wonder you're getting your ass beat. Change your Digimon out." You know,
Yeah.
so it's like
Yeah.
stuff like that when you don't know the medium that you're playing, then you come off as an asshole, and then you come off as then people don't trust your publications or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's just my final word. I want people to be a little bit more honest. I mean, we give our takes on video games, and we're completely honest within the means of what we know. You know, and we'll even come back and correct ourselves if someone calls us out on it, whatever the case may be. And I think it needs to be more of that. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so whatever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I think your point about nuance is important, right? I think Twitter is a place where nuance is often lost. And it's not a good discussion place, right, for these kind of topics, because like on the idea of like multiplayer versus single player, I don't know why is that a delineation point for these for games. I get that you can kind of create a natural line between the two, but like the whether a game's quality or not has nothing to do whether it's single player or multiplayer. It's like all games stand on their own merits. So you can have total shit multiplayer games and you can have total shit single player games. It's just but I think what I will say about multiplayer versus single player though, and I do feel this is true to a degree, is I do think that multiplayer gamers tend to be less plugged in on the industry as a whole. And I do think that is a negative in a lot of ways, because they don't know what they don't know. Like they don't know that they're getting ripped off by the $20 skin in Fortnite. Like
Yeah,
they just think that's normal. And it's like, no, bro, it's not. That's not normal. You could buy a whole ass game for that amount of money. And I think that's what I would like to see from multiplayer gamers a little bit more. And
but
I think
like,
sports gamers are in there too, and the COD
yeah.
bros and shit,
I mean,
so
and of course we're being like assholes when we say shit, but it's just like I feel like when you say shit in a nice way,
yeah,
like you just said now, like, hey, your world is Call of Duty. My
yeah,
world is I played Call of Duty, and then I have other games in my world as well.
right,
And this is gonna sound really crazy or really mean, but if your world is Call of Duty, right? Or your world is Madden only,
yeah,
I'm sorry, bro. You don't have a say what goes around in the other stratosphere of the
yeah.
entire stratosphere of the
I,
hobby.
I
Like,
totally
I'm
agree.
sorry,
I totally
and
agree.
and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
tired of like pussyfooting around,
yeah,
like trying to be like carrying to their opinion, like oh, everybody's opinion should matter. Like, no, bro. I'm sorry, your opinion matters less in this instance because all you do is play
yeah. You're not
Call of
informed.
Duty. Yeah.
You know,
You're not informed, or all you do is play Call of Duty, or all you do is play uh, Madden or whatever. Whereas like if somebody like DJ comes along, he's like, I will listen to his opinion over somebody who just plays Call of Duty because he plays Madden, he plays 2K, he plays sometimes he plays Call of Duty and all these other games like that. But he also I know he's a well versed gamer. I know who
right,
DJ is as a well versed gamer. So when
right.
he brings his opinions to me, I listen to him and I would discuss it with him. But like there are other people like I'm just gonna throw it out there. I don't know the person like per se, but Tim the Tap Man, right? And he's
I
like
was literally thinking of him because I was gonna bring up, how all the COD streamers are complaining
yeah,
about Battlefield. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So um uh,
Hilarious. That's funny as fuck. Sorry, go ahead.
So when you have like someone like Tim the Tap Man
Yeah.
talk about Battlefield, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, Will Montrell, he played all these FPS shooters and everything like that. And it's like, yeah, in the term in the stratosphere of Call of Duty or like battle royales, I think he may have touched Apex a couple of times, but
Yeah.
like him and Dr. Disrespect, they touched like a couple of times, but then after that, they didn't play anymore, or whatever the case may be. You know why? I think because the game's too good. I think because the skill level in Apex is like you have to know how
Hi.
to play Apex.
Yes.
Yeah. You can't just like, shit on little kids. Whereas like with even in Fortnite or whatever the case may be, but I don't know. But like, yeah, if your world is Call of Duty, bro, stay in Call of Duty lane. Like, I don't need your opinion in Battlefield. And
Right.
I think even the industry as a whole as well, we have to recognize. I understand you're giving the games to them for exposure because they have this huge audience, but that can be a hindrance as well. That's like Square. In my opinion, this is almost as bad as like I understand they're in the same genre, but it's almost like Square Enix giving fucking front mission or something to fucking Tim the Tatman because he played Elden Ring one time, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, well, let's give him that game because or Final Fantasy 16 because he played Elden Ring or he played from software game or whatever. And it's like it's sort of in
Mhm.
the same genre, and it's like no, it's not. I don't want to hear his opinion on from software
Right.
games in general, and I don't want to hear his opinion
I
on
mean,
like
I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to hear anybody's opinion of Frost from software games at this point.
yeah,
You know
true
what? Let's just
facts,
stop
yeah,
talking about from software games. Period. That would benefit everybody immensely. Thank
yeah.
you. Sorry.
Um, but no, I agree. It's just I want more nuanced discussion, but I feel like we have to have the quality of those discussions. I feel like the quality of those discussions were chased off. Because like I'm thinking about like Colin, for instance, right? Because
Yeah.
he voted a certain way, he he didn't let that bleed into the video games,
Yeah.
but everyone else let it bleed into the video games,
They
and then
tried
we're
to
like,
bleed it in.
they
Yeah.
try to bleed it in, right?
Yeah. Right.
Um,
Yeah.
this is like early on. This is before we got this version of Trump. This was like
Right.
early version of Trump, right? And
Right.
like because he voted a certain way, everybody was like, fuck him. But he gave a very nuanced discussion when it came to like PlayStation games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, in my opinion, when I was watching that stuff, it wasn't all like, oh, Glock, Glock. I love PlayStation. It was like, like
Yeah.
this, a very nuanced discussion over the case may be. And I just feel like we lost that. I don't know. I feel like
Yeah. I mean, it's
during that
still the
era,
thing is like it's still there. It's just not and Twitter, it's like because like I mean, Colin, for instance, is a good example. Like his show still like he still has a show. He still talks about PlayStation. It's one of the biggest podcasts out there for PlayStation. It's just that it's not on Twitter. It's not discussed
yeah,
on Twitter.
exactly. Yeah,
It's a very insular community, and like that's a good example of a show. There is nuance there. They're very critical of PlayStation on the show. It's like and I appreciate the way they approach their discussions about it. They talk about it honestly, and that we need more of that. They're not sitting there, yeah, like you said, like sucking on PlayStation's dick, or like Xbox is horribly bad with their creator kind of sphere, where the creators in the Xbox realm are just literal dick suckers, dude, for the most
oh
part.
my,
Like there's
they're so delusional, dude. Like,
dude, it's unbelievable. Like, yeah, and it's I don't even understand how anybody gets any information out of that community because it's all fucking bullshit,
yeah,
basically coming from people that are extremely biased or have agendas of their own to make sure they keep access and things like that. Like it's not done in good faith the way they talk about games.
yeah, and then Nintendo just hates
Um
their community. So
yeah, but yeah, I mean Nintendo wishes they could delete Twitch and YouTube and like make it so that no one could ever play their games outside of the one way they want them to play them, which is on their Switch where nobody's watching, no one else is consuming the game, like they just everybody needs their own copy, bro. Um
they'll
but
make like a
but
streaming
yeah.
service like Nintendo. Stream Boy or something like
Oh
that.
my god. Yeah. Yeah, and it like it like mutes the game half the time, and you like half the scenes get blacked out, if you're playing, or some shit. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking, yeah, I don't
But no,
know.
I mean
So,
that's I mean, and that's why I mean both of us try to make this show that way. And maybe that's why it's a small show. It's therapeutic for me, honestly, but it is
yeah.
a way for me to talk about video games in a more honest form or whatever the
Mhm.
case may be. And that's what I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think both of us, like, right, we are, I think, for the most part, like, unique to each other in our friend groups. Like, that's why we have a chat with DJ. He's kind of the third person that we know that kind
Exactly.
of follows the industry the way we do. Like, most of the rest of our friends are not plugged in like this, and they
Yeah.
don't care to the degree we do. They don't care that Ubisoft is splitting up its studios and making a subsidiary. They don't give a shit about that stuff. But they don't care that Game Pass is going up in price. It's like none of them even have Game Pass. Um, so yeah, I mean that's a big reason we made this show. But I also just think I like having a forum to talk about games, with my voice. Because even when we talk to our friends about games, sometimes I just feel like they're talking on such a different wavelength about games that it just doesn't line up with the way that you and I think about video
Yeah.
games. Like
Yeah.
they're and it can be hard to talk about games with them sometimes because like they're not. I don't like. I'm not trying to make them sound like they're
No,
stupid or not like informed or
they're
anything like that. But it's
they're
just
just not
different.
plugged in. They're
It's
not locked in like us, right?
right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I do
Exactly.
remember like some of the discussions we had, and it would be with like a certain. I just remember one of our friends, like I think Brad was saying something, and I was just
Yeah, and it's like
like,
totally wrong, you know. And me and Montrell come in because we know me and Montrell have a podcast, where we literally talk about the news every week. And we're like, no, bro, that's wrong, that's not true. And then he'll just like not, he'll just ignore us, or
yeah,
like keep
yeah,
going and talk. It's like, all right, cool, man. Yep, nope, we don't do a show every week where we talk about news and follow the industry and all this shit. But it's
yeah.
like, so I don't know. But
And
it's like
I
I don't
mean,
want to. I don't want to do that thing though that like athletes do to reporters, where they're like, "You didn't play the game, bro." So that's kind of what we're doing here. So I don't want to do that either. It's fine. It's
exactly, but
okay.
there has to be some fine line though, right?
That's
Because
true.
they
It's
like
true.
no,
It's
and I
true.
love Brad to death, but there are thousands of Brads sometime on Twitter
Yes,
who like
100%. Yes,
who
yes.
never played a game before or never played a certain type of game or whatever
Yeah,
in their
right.
lives or
And
whatever.
they think they have this like amazing opinion about this genre of game or something, and it's like, dude, you've never even played one. What are you talking about?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So
So yeah.
I don't know. It's just and sometimes like I said, it's some of our friends. Sometimes they're like, "Oh, well, I heard this thing was this like this." And I'm like, actually, it's not like that, dude. Have you played the game?
Yeah.
No, I just heard it from Asmongold. I'm like, no, you can't go by what
No,
Asmongold plays.
no,
Like,
Asmongold's fucking. He's not a news. He's not. He's not a news source. Okay. Yeah.
so and then, but then like when I hear that from like normies, right? Like I will call them normies. Like they play video games just as much as us, but they're still normies as far as like what
Right.
actually
They're not
goes on.
following industry movement and stuff. They just play a lot of
Exactly.
games. Right. Yeah.
So when you hear stuff like that, it really does open my eyes to like this is a very very niche like thing that me and you do, and
Space we're
that
in. Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Yes.
and
No, and that's why Twitter's so annoying, because this space exists on Twitter and there's no nuance to it on there.
exactly,
And it's
exactly,
it's frustrating because like these conversations are great. I love talking about this stuff. Like, dude, we've done this show for what we were approaching 7 years almost at this
yeah,
point. And
yep.
it's like we don't miss a week, bro. Like we haven't had a discussion about not doing the show like in years. Like we just do it. We just, and it's like we like doing it. We love doing it, you know? And it's just part of my life at this point, and it's like I don't care about the show having a huge audience. It's like, cuz to your point, like this is therapeutic. It's an outlet. Like this is like, dude, if we didn't do the show, I would like, I don't know, I would probably start making YouTube videos or something because I need a way to talk about this stuff to somebody, you know? It's
Yeah.
like so I don't know. That's why it is frustrating that Twitter is so lacking in nuance because there are a lot of great discussions to be had here. You know, I think there's a lot of great conversation we can have about games and the industry as a whole. And I just think, unfortunately, Twitter has become a place that dominates the conversation, but shouldn't, you know, unfortunately. But it's just the place everybody goes. You know, it is the town hall, you know, online. And it's like that's kind of is what it is. And we're like the guys on the street at the park, you know, just trying to talk to passerby. Like that's what we are in this analogy, you know. And it's like nobody cares about what we're saying, you know. It's like, so I don't know. It is what it is. Um, but yes, I think if you're listening to this and you're on Twitter out there, you know, try to approach your discussions with nuance because everything, pretty much everything, has nuance in this
Well,
world.
that's the
So
thing, and I'll close off with that too. Like, I think that's my thing with Twitter. We have enough characters now where you can be nuanced. Like,
yeah,
there's no reason for you not to be nuanced. If you make
right,
if you have a take or something like that, you can
right,
always explain it. And people just choose not to anymore, and they're
yeah,
purposely choosing not to for like reasons, and it
clicks,
irritates me. Yeah.
rage bait. Yeah. So all right. Well, all right, Montreal. We Ghost Yote came out today, but we don't have any user reviews at this point on Metacritic, so we'll see how that goes next week. And talk about that there. So I think we're done for the day. If you guys like this episode, please like the show, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you are listening to it on. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And if you'd like to send us questions, you can do so via email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. All right, that'll be it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We will see you next week. Bye.